Good evening, guys. Tonight we have Kyle with us on the live stream. The No Limits to Ride live stream. I'm hosting it tonight. Kyle, you may know him as Humble Savage on Instagram. Yeah, Kyle, you can introduce yourself, but first I will tell how I got to see you online. I think
Mhm.
most of us in Europe know you from maxing out the GTS, like those wild videos that was like, whoa. So yeah, introduce yourself. Let us
What's
know
going
who you
on,
are.
everybody?
And
I'm
stuff.
happy to be here. It's an honor to even be on this stream. Never in my wildest dreams would I even think this was something I'd be doing. So again, living a dream while being in a dream, and it's awesome. Uh, Maxing out the GTS that day was not the intention. Just it's just throwing that out
It just
there.
happened.
Yeah, it was the nature of the beast that day. I was out on a morning cruise, and that was a hill that I've always gone down pretty quick. But I'm just like,
Yeah,
man, you have all this headroom now. Let's see how fast it can go. And my
let's
main
see
goal
how
was
far you
just to
can
get
go.
to the bottom of the hill. Was my like if I would have gone 15 more feet, I would have been fine. But
Yeah.
it just didn't make it.
Oh damn. Okay. Yeah, it was a great video to watch, and I think yeah,
Appreciate it.
yeah. So yeah, tell us about the stuff. How you got into one wheeling. Maybe that's a good way to start.
So how I got into one wheeling is actually a unique story for me. So one of my best friends, Steve, you can follow him on Instagram. His name is Paragrammer. He flies a power motor fan on the back with the sail on top. Um, Literally one day he calls
Like
me
the
up.
parachute with
Yeah,
the
like,
with the
the
ventilator on the back.
parachute, and then he has the
Oh yeah,
fan
yeah,
on the
yeah.
back with
Okay.
the motor and you fly around, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, so one day, calls me up and he's like, "Hey, my fiance just bought me a one wheel." And I'm just like, "What?" I'm like, "I've been wanting a one wheel for the longest time. I didn't know anybody who had a one wheel. I didn't know the
Yeah.
community was as deep and as tight and as awesome as it was before I even touched it." So I stayed away. And then he told me he got one. Literally, the moment he said it, I went online, bought one right then and there. Um, Funny story with that is though, by time mine came, he had just got his and he had already nosedived his and crashed and got
Oh,
all beat up. So by time it
yeah,
came, I had to wait a few weeks before I had a riding buddy.
yeah.
But
For you getting right together.
you know,
Okay.
but ever since then, me and him we ride together so much. He's one of the people that I do all the recon for the race league with.
Ah, okay.
So
So you had your first one wheel buddy from the start. So you've been riding together ever since
yeah, ever since I
the
got
beginning.
aboard, yeah, him and I, and then slowly the group expanded, and just you know how the community is. You meet one person, you meet
Yeah,
another
yeah, yeah,
person,
indeed.
and then it's this family that's just endless. It's amazing.
Yeah, it doesn't stop
Yeah,
once it gets started. It only grows bigger. Huh? That's
yeah.
the same here. How we got into it. Um, so you're from New Jersey?
Yes, live in New Jersey. Been here all my life. Don't know why I've never left. It's just this is where family's at, and
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I like it here. It's not bad. It's busy. That's what
Yeah,
I call the
and
Northeast arrogance. The Northeast is just constantly running. So
okay, okay, okay. And your the background, like when you grew up, did you do skateboarding or snowboarding or
so grow
before one wheeling? I mean,
So growing up, did skateboard. I did a lot of rollerblading. I rode BMX bikes, but I would say I did a decent amount of skateboarding,
yeah,
um,
okay,
but nothing to the point where you would think like this would be what like what I would choose later on if it came about. Like I don't know, I would skateboard for fun.
yeah, 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 of course, of course. I think nobody did when we grew up. Like I was a skateboarder myself, but nowhere did I think I would be flying electric boards at these speeds and stuff like this. But
I know it's
in my
amazing.
opinion, it's like reinventing the skateboard. It's like how I see it because I skated for like 20 years or so, and
Okay.
now it's like everything is happening again from my childhood, but then at a later age. So that's why the stuff is so big. Also, for me personally.
You appreciate it a lot more, especially when you still have the physical capability to do these things. That's a big
Yeah,
thing. There's some people who don't have the ability, and it's like, I am happy that I can.
yeah, 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 exactly. It makes you feel younger. You can like there's no age with one wheeling. You have kids, you have older guys. It's like
all
Everybody
ages.
can do it.
Yeah,
Huh?
all ages. Yeah, and the Groms are the most important because they're the future. And without them, it's
Yeah.
like it's so we've been trying to push our Groms heavy this year as far as just trying to get people out to ride. We have one Grom that races in the league, but outside of that, we don't really have any.
Okay.
Yeah.
So about racing, when did you start competing in races then, or how did it came
So
like
for
that?
me, it came about through sorrow. So once I got a one wheel, actually, give me one. So let me close my door because my lady just got
Yeah, yeah,
home and
okay. Let's see who's in the chat.
sorry about that.
Yeah,
So the racing came about through sorrow. So once we got one wheels, we literally took through the woods, and that's all we've ever really done. Like I'm not really that much of a street rider. I would say I'm like 90% trails, 10% street, and that's like going to the grocery store to get some food or something like that. Um,
yeah.
but the moment we got in the woods, I just fell in love with it. And then going online, learning about the community, seeing that there was this thing called the underground and there was this thing called Race for the Rail. And I'm just like, oh man, I'm like, there's a whole, big community going on with this. So once I saw the underground and I saw that was more Strava based, each state has their own thing going on. And I was like, can we set that up here? And I got to asking questions and just got to mapping trails and setting it up. And literally, so if I got a one wheel in October, by February of that year
The next
is when
year, yeah.
we started mapping trails, and then by, I would say, April, May, we were already starting our first season. We did the first season, we cut it short, I believe around July, and then did a second season just to try to like ramp it up and get people into it.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
it
and then
started with the underground races, like
yeah,
with
yep,
the Strava and the maps and everything,
yep.
and then you got to events and stuff like that.
Yeah, I didn't. My first event that I went to was Oak City.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
great.
it was Oak City, number 3.
Okay,
Yeah.
because that's from like here in Europe. That's the things we see. We see everything online on YouTube, and that's how we the guys here got to the idea like we need to do this as well over here. And but it's growing very fast.
Yeah, you guys have
If
been
I look
killing
at
it
it
over
now,
here. You guys have been
yeah,
killing it over there. I've been seeing the posts online, and that's kind of what built this connection here. Just because I honestly saw it, and I was thoroughly impressed just with the communication that was happening with the community, as far as what we're trying to deliver to the community and the changes we've made because of the feedback from the community and whatnot. And it was a lot more transparent, and I was very
yeah.
appreciative of that. So I just had to show my love
Yeah,
by like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
reposting it.
When you
Yeah,
posted that story, we all forwarded to each other. It was
yeah.
like, yo, this guy sees us. It was like for us, it's a huge honor in Europe
Yeah.
that we get some appreciation from the states because yeah, mostly we don't see it or it doesn't get talked about. But yeah, that's what
I-
builds these connections.
I'm hoping things change in that when it comes to that regard, as far as the support you guys are getting. I'm very hopeful for the future of the sport.
Yeah,
Just with all the recent changes that have been going, as we see. I mean, you can buy parts now, so like they've been hearing
yeah.
things are changed. So hopefully there becomes a bond, and it's truly becomes an
Yeah, it
international
feels
sport.
like they're starting to wake up from the winter sleep. It's like
Yeah.
things
Took
are moving and it's better like this. Huh?
yeah, took a little time, but hey, better late than
Yeah,
never.
yeah. We'll see for the future how it goes. Because like for us, we do these different events. Well, all separated, but we do it under the European One Wheel League.
Hmm.
But like for you guys, when you race, you have like the East Coast and the West Coast. I can imagine if you live on the East Coast to go to the race in the West Coast, it's like traveling farther than we have to go to another European country. You know?
Yeah, like a lot of those events, just because they're so spread out, it does make it harder to get to, um, and especially the ORL sanctioned events. But this year they did a decent job about spreading events out. So I was happy to see that change. They've got some new events coming back, like Wheel Scorcher.
Yeah,
So it puts more on the plate, which enabled it to spread across the calendar year a little bit better. So I'm excited for this
yeah.
year. But I don't know
Okay.
how likely it'll be. I'm going to hit a West Coast event just because of the travel. Like
Yeah,
it's
of course.
the
Because
logistics
it's
behind
still
it.
yeah. So with you guys to to be able to go to race for the rail, do you have to do all the races
So you
to
don't
make
have
the
to do
best
all
chance?
so you don't have to do all the races, and I'll be honest, I don't know all the extreme details between, like, the points and scoring. I know Jeff Adair, I don't know if anybody follows him on Instagram.
Yeah, we
Um,
all follow him.
this past day, he's literally been talking about all of the races, and I believe he's got a video that he's been working on as far as, like, all the information when it comes to I believe there's regional events versus premier events. The regional events, the points aren't worth as many as the premier events.
Okay.
There's 3 regional events that start the season off, I believe he said, and then after that are the premier events. And I believe they take one of your regional and 2 of the premier for your total points, and they
Yeah.
tally that up, and then that's how they pick the top, like what 12, 16 to go to race for the rail. But I'll be honest, I'm a Clydesdale, so the likelihood of like I've been trying to push and hope that they do like a
Yeah.
Clydesdale category for race for the rail, just like I want them to do a Grom category for the race for the rail. Like
Yeah.
give the
Yeah.
little guys something to aspire and actually go to and like be on the big screen and go home and watch themselves over and
Yeah.
over and over
Yeah, of
again
course.
and drool at that dream of just like that's what you do for your career, especially now that we have the factory team. It's like you actually have something to aspire to become.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now that EC Pro races, it's like
Yeah,
yeah, something to look up to and goals to work to for the kids.
exactly. Exactly.
So
Yeah, lots changed over the past year, and it's awesome just to see how much has changed and just what we've given the kids or the Groms, more to look up to. So it's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
pretty awesome. Stoke is high for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the same over here. There are not that many grams because yeah, for traveling, like in my case, my 2 kids ride, but Noah, my son, is like big into racing. It's like his whole thing. But like to take him to another country with the mom, it's not easy to just take him.
Yeah,
He's 10 years old, so to take him 3 days to Switzerland, for example, is like I don't know how I'm gonna
it's a
do this.
big deal. Yeah,
It's a big deal, huh?
yeah, Mama Bear don't want
Yeah,
to let go. She always gonna worry.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, indeed.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Um, wait, what did I have still? So now you also have your YouTube account.
Yep.
You post videos of the rides and the trails and everything.
Yeah, my YouTube. I've
Uh,
been at YouTube for a minute now. If you scroll back in my YouTube, this one I started off doing motorcycles, motorcycle videos, stunt riding motorcycles, uh,
okay,
and then transitioned into the one wheel videos. Um,
okay,
when I first came into the community, main videos that I would see online were people like Jeff, Brandon Liqueur, um, and like Neil Bennett. I would see his videos on Instagram, and just that angle
yeah,
of the videos inspired me to like want to ride more, just because it looks so
yeah.
cool. Just seeing the board. Um, but yeah, these videos. This is
Oh yeah, you did
back in my motorcycle time. Um,
nice.
I love doing how to wheelie videos and teaching the community just like how to do it because it's something that does take a minute to pick up. But once you pick
Yeah.
up and learn a certain few tricks, it's actually pretty easy to do.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. So you were actually already big in making. Oh, you were familiar with making YouTube videos
Yeah.
from those days.
So before this channel, I actually had another channel. It was a fishing YouTube channel called Lunchtime Limits, and that
Nice.
started because I had a job where they had a pond property, and when I say it was stocked to the T, the rule was you got 12 casts to catch a fish, and that was a lunchtime
Okay.
limit. And so I would just go out there and just make videos on my lunch, and then that was a blast. And then from there, I would just travel around different ponds and stuff, try to make videos with my friends. But
Okay,
yeah,
like that.
that's what really started the YouTube.
Because it's a hard job. When I got into it, I was like, when I got into one wheeling, I was like, also watching all the YouTube videos. I was like, okay, okay, I will do that. I bought myself a GoPro. I bought myself Insta 360. I was like, as soon as I saw how much time it took editing and everything,
Uh,
I don't even think I ever posted something on my YouTube channel. So I yeah, it's I
it's
applaud
time
guys
consuming for
who
sure.
take the time. Yeah,
Yeah.
so pretty dope.
And the main thing I found with it is like finding your niche and like the best method for you to make videos and to be the most efficient. Because,
Yeah,
you notice from channel to channel, everybody has different styles. And certain people's that style of video is easier to make for them than what it would be for me, based on, whatever editing programs you have and whatnot. So that was my biggest thing. Is like, okay, what form factor or type of video do I want to make? And that's the easiest to make. And that's why I
yeah,
adapted to that like board view going down the trail, just because like that was just the easiest one and it just looked the best. And I was like, I could just go out,
yeah.
ride, and then cut a video together real quick.
So you actually did it how you like to watch his videos. You
Exactly.
mean like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good tip for guys who want to start out doing content creating and stuff like that. For me personally, I don't I don't have I'm not gonna say the time. I have time to do it, but it takes up so much time. I'm like, I'm just put some quick
Yeah.
bits on the Instagram and stuff like that. And there's people enough here in the community that do it for us and they include us with it. So oh yeah, that's when you got your XR.
That's the
Or did
first
you?
thing. That's the first one. The old XR.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
Unboxing.
moment you never forget. The first time you open up your brand new one wheel, or if you
Yeah.
get a used one,
Yeah.
it's a life changing experience.
And just looking at the imaging and everything, like the oddly warm weather that we were having at the time, that gave me the ability to ride. Because it was
Yeah,
fall, like, we were starting into the fall, like, it was cool out, but nothing had started turning yet.
yeah, yeah,
'Cause I just
yeah.
haven't
Because I
overly.
saw it's snowing right with you this week. You had snowed right
Yeah, it
last
snowed
time you
again
were.
this week. We had snow a couple weeks ago, and then all of a sudden, it felt like spring. Look at that blue Vega. Look at that blue
Ah, nice.
XR, it's so nice. And then all of a sudden, it was warm weather again, it felt like spring was coming, and then 2 days ago, it started snowing again. It's like, well, it is February, so we can't forget that. Uh,
Yeah,
it's supposed to snow.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, over here it's when I was young we had a cold winter as well. Well, snowy winters as well, but now it's like rarely maybe 1 week or 2 days even in the year that it snows, but it stays wet for like 4 or 5 months. So in the winter it's really hard to get out and ride. It's like
Yeah, that's the worst, especially once it thaws out here. Like even with the snow, it thaws out, and it's literally muddy for weeks, and then it finally starts to dry out. So yeah, the trails will be nasty for a good while.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's also why I got a Fender now. I see you rock the Fender as well. I was like before I was hardcore no Fender all the time,
Same.
but
Yep.
I was like I need to get a Fender or otherwise I will not be riding for like 4 months straight if it's
The
too
main
wet.
thing, and the fender just keeps stuff from getting on the foot pad, so it's just you keep track. Like if you do come off the board, at least your foot pads aren't getting mud and stuff spit all over them. It's just
Yeah.
what you run in. So yeah, that's the main reason, is literally just to keep the board clean.
Okay. So this is in your backyard?
Yeah, that's my
Where you
backyard. I got the one wheel and took it out back. The grass needed to be cut. It looks terrible. uh,
live?
well, yeah, and there's a whole bunch of lumps and bumps in the yard too, so it wasn't easy. And
Yeah.
being on an XR, but I had to get out and try it. Um,
So this is actually the unboxing and your first time on the one wheel. Did
it
you try the one from your friend before you ordered it?
No,
So this
no,
is
the
literally the first time you on
first
the
time on it ever. Yeah, when he told me he
nice.
got one, yeah, I'd never tried one, but I knew I wanted one, and I knew that I'd be able to ride it.
Yeah,
And that
okay.
was it. And so, yeah, I just needed the push. He told me he got one, and I was
Yeah,
like, "Oh, we're all having one." And now we've got a whole crew of us. It's awesome.
okay. It's cool that you documented it for later, so it's cool to watch. First time. Nice. Great. Yeah, I my first time I tried it in the shop, so but I was also instantly in love, so ordered it the next day,
Mhm.
and that's what started it all.
Was your first board an XR as well?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
But there was a friend of me who said for a while you need one, you need one, you need to get one, but I thought it was too expensive. But when I saw one in real life, I saw one passing, I was like, okay, damn, this is cool. I need this.
It's an
So that's when I
expensive
booked an
joy,
appointment. Yeah, it's an
that's for
expensive
sure.
toy, but once you get the joy of it, it's
Uh,
like you cannot
yeah.
imagine a life without
Priceless.
it.
Yeah, it's priceless after that. It's and that's what gets a lot of people, that initial, sticker price on it. It's like, oh my goodness, a couple grand. And it's like, yeah, but wait until you see the utility that it becomes for you, and like the stress reliever that it becomes, the
Yeah,
therapist that
yeah,
it becomes for you, like everything. And it's just the endless uses.
So I
yeah.
just going to say something. Hello to everybody. First of all, I just
Hey,
want to
Nelson.
say Jaffa is making this interview. Like always, is always a privilege to have riders here. Jaffa is the first time. Please, guys, give us support. Leave your questions to him. That way, it's going to be easy. The first time making the interview, I know that he's nervous. I know it's not easy, and
It's not easy to go back and forth to the chat and then keep talking. It's like, how am I gonna do this? But yeah,
don't worry, my friend. You are doing perfect. I like always is. I just want to say to the two of you, you are doing fantastic. The important thing is for us to support our communities. And guys, if you are out there now seeing, leave your questions, and they continue to do it. The interview. I'm in a back. Listening, having a good time. That is it's so nice to see the other ones having the interview. I think the two of you are doing amazing. The first time is always not easy, but you are doing Jaffa perfect, my friend. You are
okay, thank you.
having a good time. Okay, guys, continue. Leave your message there. Leave your questions, please, and support these riders. They are doing a fantastic job. Jaffa, I have the privilege to ride with him, to interview him, and I think he's having today one of the great riders in USA in a moment. He's doing a fantastic job and riding like crazy, and
Thank you.
incentivize this sport. That's why I'm going to leave the two of you. Please support the two riders. Enjoy the live stream. We are in Facebook X today, and we are in YouTube. But leave your questions that way. I think it's going to be. Oh, Jacovo is there to see
Hi,
you
PJ.
and interview. So, my friends, continue to have a good time, huh? And I'm
All
here
right.
enjoying the interview.
Good to know. Okay, so back to the racing. Yeah, of course, for us, it would be great to see over the span of years people traveling from Europe, from America to Europe and back and forth. So that's also what you mentioned, that it seems easy. Well, you said it seems easier to plan out the Europe events than it is for yourself in America.
See, well, just with all
'Cause-
the announcements that you guys have going on, it's like for a while that was one of my big gripes. It's just like the season information would be announced so late, and I work a full-time job, so in order to get off time, I have to put my PTO and my time off in early enough, and just with the lateness of the updates sometimes here, and then just seeing you guys and how again like one, two, and three videos just informing the community. Um, just really spoke to my heart. I'm just like, man, I'm like, with all that information, it's like I could almost, book some flights and like plan it out to go over there. But
Yeah, yeah,
again,
but
just
you addressing that will also wake up people in
oh yeah,
America to start considering doing that earlier, because it is a hard work. The guys here in Europe are really putting all their time and effort in it to inform us as soon as possible. We also have big group chats on WhatsApp to just communicate with each other, because I think that is the biggest difference between Europe and in America, that all the guys who organize the races are actually racing in it themselves, because we literally started from nothing. All the events
yeah,
was also like just, and to see that as riders, we were like, yeah, we have to go. We gotta make the travel. They put in the work that we're putting in here, and vice versa. And it's like, yeah, the mutual respect is very high here in Europe. That's what makes it so easy for us.
yep. And even here, like, they do a lot of work on the backside as far as like setting up the races and everything. And I definitely give them credit because on both sides, it's hard to set up the season, logistics, timing. Not all locations will allow you to have an event when you want to, and this, that, and the third. Um, so I get that it does make it hard, but again, I always say the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So if I say something just like you say, it's like it could make some change, and then hopefully in the future, they start announcing the events a little bit early, which they have actually. So it did help.
Yeah,
You know,
it's good
yeah.
that you address it in time, and yeah, I applaud you for that. And 2 years ago there was only one. Yeah, indeed, like here in Europe, I know in Italy, Float Italia, they had a race, well, an event, and then we had one in Belgium. Was the first time 2 years ago. Was actually like a music event, but they did a one wheel race with it
Oh, nice.
to combine it. They did that 2 years in a row, and then as soon as we saw, yeah, like Italy was the first time that we came from Belgium to there, and then everything they did in Switzerland also. They had a race already, and then yeah, because we had a few events in Europe, they decided like yeah, let's start up the European One Wheel League together with Float the Highlands, which had a huge marketing and is also I think the most known in America for Europe races.
Oh, Float the Highlands,
Because
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because Andy is coming a lot to
Yep.
he visited America a lot. So yeah, that's also my dream. My goal this year is like to because I promised myself to go last year. I couldn't go, so this year I still don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I need to get there.
What, to the
We'll see
Highlands?
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
You coming to any
something about
American events, or
what?
you coming to any American events?
I wanted we wanted to go to Float Fest.
Okay.
That was like well when I started personally when I started one wheeling I was like yeah I saw a race for the rail I was like how am I gonna go there,
Yeah.
but then seeing all events on YouTube that seems like and also because Fabio from Portugal and Andy went there and the stories they told from there was like okay damn forget about race for the rail we need to go there, you know.
It's a fun
But
time.
yeah to pull that off I don't know how, how I'm gonna do it because I have like 4 weeks vacation in a year to tell my wife like, yeah, we're not going on a holiday this year. I'm going
Yeah.
to America, or maybe I should just bring them all, make it a family trip.
Family trip.
I
Yeah.
don't know, but that's like the goal 2025 or 26. I don't know. Maybe when the kids get a bit older, because that's like a huge trip for us to make there.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here. I'd love to get over there anywhere. Just have to figure it out logistically, like, making the plans, shipping a board, or even more borrowing a board would be like the easiest.
Yeah.
Like,
You don't have to worry about boards.
yeah,
If you come to Europe, there's boards enough here.
yeah,
Everybody has spares, and they all look out for each other.
nice.
Because like first time we went to Italy, was a guy Fabio from Portugal. His board got stuck posting it, so we just took an extra board for him, and everybody looks out for each other. So
Nice.
you don't even have to worry about the boards.
Awesome.
Just
Nice. It's good to know, because I got a buddy of mine who'd probably want to try to go.
if you want to go,
Yeah,
just tell us and we'll
yeah,
set it up.
yeah.
Um, so I saw you have two GTS, or is one GTS and one GT that
I
you're
have
riding?
two GTSs and a GT.
Two GTS and a
Yeah.
GT. Yeah, tell us a bit about the setups you ride.
So my one GTS is 007s. The rails are from Tech Rails. Um, that I run squishies on as my grip tape. Um, just a split fender. That's the board that I run fenderless, since it's all trussed out. It's meant to be cool, stay
Yeah,
cool. So I use that one. It's going to be my summer board. That
yeah,
one I
okay.
haven't really ridden that much. My other setup I have is set up on Float Life Dovetails. Shout out to them. And I love those rails, by the way. And that dovetails, keep the fender on there. Pioneer tire, I absolutely love that tire. The traction on it is amazing. There's the videos of the 007s. And the funny thing
Yeah.
with the 007s, I actually I won those.
Oh,
And
nice.
so yep, so I won those. And when they showed up, I was super excited to get those on. Um, but yeah, I can't wait to get that set up out because it's really light.
Okay.
That's the thing about those rails. They're really, really light, and you can actually
Oh,
feel
they're
the
lighter than the WTF rails? Even lighter?
Yeah, I would say they're lighter because
Oh,
they're all I wish I had them up there downstairs. Um, they're all trussed out and open, so they've shed a lot of weight off of the rails where
oh,
the
nice.
weight's not needed. It still has all the strength that's needed, but all the excess weight has been just shed off the rails.
Okay, they slimmed it down. Nice.
Yeah.
That's good to know as well.
Um, oh, but now I was saying, my other board is Dovetails, Pioneer tire, um, 2 millimeter Ignite grip tape, and Joe hooks are my bindings. I don't know if you know what they are. They're another set of binding system that's out there, just like the Control
It's like
Freaks,
the
it's like
control freaks. It's like the
Control
same thing.
Freaks, Overlanders, Joe hooks. Video up right there, that one there in the middle, that with the orange. Yep. Uh, Joe hooks. I've been running those for a minute now. I actually help him out as far as making slight changes to him as he was developing these. And he went from
Okay.
having the smaller hooks, which are on the left hand side, and then as you go over to the right, I put a little bug in his ear. I'm like, hey, you should make them a little bit bigger so they cover the foot a little bit more, allowing you to stay, strapped down a little bit better. So, uh, best bang for your buck as far as
Yeah.
bindings go when it comes to putting something on your board and staying bound to the board. Um, it is what I call an invasive upgrade product, whereas you need to
Yeah.
screw into your foot pad, so you are, doing that, but uh,
Yeah.
it's worth it. It will keep you
Okay,
on the
that's a
board.
good
Yeah.
tip.
Yeah.
Because we all on the lookout here to see what we can do
I don't know if
for
if he's
foothold.
shipped international yet, but I mean, I could message him and see if he'd be willing to. If anybody does, hit him up. But he's on Instagram. If you just type in Joe Hooks,
Joe hooks.
I
Okay.
forget the numbers he has after it, but yeah,
Okay.
message me on Instagram, and I'll put you in touch.
Okay. We'll
Yeah.
check that out later then. Cool. Okay. So those two GTSs. So this is your other ride with the dovetails, huh? With the fender on it. So this is one you're riding now when it's colder and wet outside. Yeah.
Yep. When it's cold and
Okay.
nasty, full fender, Pioneer tire with enough tread to be able to, handle some dirt and mud. Even though,
Yeah.
I mean, it gets too muddy, yeah, ain't nothing you can do about it. Um, But yeah,
Yeah.
I've
I
been
think it's
enjoying that
yeah.
setup.
Okay. Yeah, the Pioneer is not in Europe yet, but we'll check that out as soon as they land at TFL Europe. Shout out to Ben. Um, yeah, because right now I'm riding still the Enduro. Yeah,
Okay.
which is great in summer and overall and on the streets. But when it gets a bit wetter, I think the Pioneer is a good solution. Seems
Oh,
like
you're
a
gonna
good
love it.
solution.
You're gonna absolutely love the traction of that thing. Uh,
Okay.
Especially in your more, even just like the simple damp scenarios. You wake up early morning, you go for a ride, and the trails just have a little bit of dew on it, so they can be a little slick. You just won't have to worry about any of that.
Okay.
Where the enduro, I felt like once it got started to get a little damp, things started to get a little slip with that. So, uh,
Yeah,
it's
it acts a bit like a slick tire then.
Yeah, like the
Just
traction on the Pioneer is out of control. Like there's even in the snow, like you take it out in the snow, it's
yeah, I
just
saw that in your story
yeah,
yesterday or the day before. I was like, damn,
yeah.
okay, that was a good
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Look at that. That's back when I had the straight rails on there, actually.
Yeah, I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
ride the straight wheels for too long on
Yeah,
GT.
not too
Like,
long. Once they came out with some rails, I had to get something, especially to work
yeah,
around the not being able to level the board out since the front needs to be straight because I was on one of my GTSs and you could get away with using elevated, but
yeah,
when you bonk over things, it likes to slap the tail down real heavy. So you would just have to, overcompensate for that. But if you knew it was going to happen, you could prepare for it. But it was just
yeah,
another element of the ride that you had to adjust to.
yeah. The tail slapping is also the big thing I had to get used to on the GT when I switched over. But I still ride all of the one wheels. I still ride the XR. Also got a float wheel.
This may sound like a
Um,
dumb question. Have the GTSs made it over there yet?
I saw. It's not a dumb question because I never saw one myself, but I
Okay.
saw some guy in France has one.
Okay.
But yeah, a lot of the stores who used to sell one wheels don't anymore
Hmm.
over here in Belgium that I know of.
That's
It's
sad.
yeah, indeed, it's but that's also the reason why a lot of us went the Vesk way.
Makes
But
sense.
yeah, but also like over here, yeah, we have the trouble if we get out of warranty, we have to ship it all the way to the US. So in
Yeah.
that what made us go that way. Most of us. Um, and yeah, also the new updates. Like most people I know, just go airplane mode, and we didn't upload. We didn't even get a taste of the
Okay.
custom shaping yet.
Yeah.
So we're still rocking the old firmware.
Oh, oh, you didn't even
Um,
do custom shaping for the GT yet.
no,
Oh,
I have two
wow.
GTs, and they're still on the old firmware. And
Wow.
I last week was the first time I had the haptic bus on a friend's GT, so he's riding casually, so like every few months. And I was like, "Yo, dude, it's been 4 months since you one wheeled. You need to check your battery." So we went for a ride. As soon as he started, I
The
was like,
update.
"Okay, let me try that." Yeah, the haptic bus. I don't know if I could get used to it because I ride on the GT. I'm like top speeds all the time, riding the beep. I think probably if you get used to it, but
It's more on the street is when you feel it. Like if you're a street rider, and that's where people who ride street like fall in love with the GTS just because of the clearance, the extra miles per hour, your cruising speed. You don't hit haptic buzz as bad. But yeah, on a GT and the street, it's definitely you can definitely feel it and definitely can be annoying. On the trails, it's not so bad because you have the vibration of the trail going on and the
yeah,
wind noise
I
and
can
everything. So
imagine. Yeah,
you don't even hear the buzz and you don't really feel it. Um, I honestly like it because I use it as a speedometer. You know exactly how fast you're
yeah.
going.
It's
It's
like
like
on. Okay,
right.
be
So it's like
careful. Yeah,
and when you're hitting like different trails or segments that you're doing, and you want to enter it, at a certain speed, but there's a turn coming up, if you feel that haptic buzz, you're after or after a certain speed. And if you need to slow down and not feel it, like it, yeah. So I would use it as a speedometer. Um, but now having it at 25, it's even better.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's why
From
I was
on the
asking if any
GTS, I can see it being a good thing. Like, okay, you need to slow the fuck
calm
down.
down. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, and that's why I was asking if any of them made it over there yet, just to know one, if anybody's ridden the GTS on old firmware, but two, the new update that they did with the gradient tracking. That is the game changer right there.
yeah.
Like absolutely game changing. Um, I
I try not to look
couldn't be happier.
at the videos too much because I know I don't have the money right now for it.
Yeah,
So I'm just like a bit ignoring it. But yeah, it seems like finally an amazing update. Also already with the custom shaping, is
it's
it's like
impeccable.
the GTS is like more like tuning a vest now. Huh? It's like what they over here do with the vest tuning.
It,
It's like you have more freedom now with the FM board. Huh?
it gives you a little bit of that Vesk feel when it comes to the ATR aspect of it, but it still has the simple factor behind it, where it's not too complex. They didn't give us too
Yeah,
much to change, so you're touching a couple things that drastically change the way the board rides enough to where you're like, okay, I'm happy with this because them adding gradient tracking is probably one of the most technical things that they've added for us to be able to change because roll and yaw, yeah, you felt that a little bit, but the way gradient tracking kicks in and the way it acts and performs depending on how you have it set is something else. Like so
yeah. It probably
this is
suits.
a video going downhill on the new setup. And honestly, it's not even the downhill, it's the climbing. The uphill is where it's at.
Yeah,
There's the first video before this one that I put up, climb that we take. And this is a climb that I had never been able to make the entire thing before, ever. And Yep, that one.
When going back up, where it just went down. You
So
mean?
we went down. So
Yeah.
he pulled the video up where we were going down. This is the
Yeah.
first video, the day we were testing it out, and we were on our way up. And this is
Yeah.
literally like the most gradual at points, switchbacky type of climb going up, and nice and flowy. But as you get to the very top, you hit these punchy climbs that take you to the very top because there's this overlook at the top where you can look out and you can actually see New York on a clear day.
Oh,
Yeah.
crazy.
So literally we climb up and this is the first day out there and I'm in high line with a little bit of gradient tracking added and I think I added a little bit of aggression, a little bit of brakes, but like nothing too crazy. And because once the GTS came out, it had enough power in Highline where I fell in love with the board all over again because I love rocking Highline. I always liked how it felt, mainly because it doesn't have too much power to break traction. Apex, many times when you're riding, it always had too much on the GTS, has too much power and it'll break traction going
Yeah.
uphill. Then your nose digs in and then you're in, the world of hurt. Uh, but yeah, flowing up this in Highline, and the camera doesn't do it justice because as we know, cameras don't catch the angles on things, but
Yeah.
this is just like a slow, sweepy, gradual climb. And then as you start to get like here, it's climbing up. Each turn I take is essentially a switch that's going up. And then you ride
Yeah.
it flow, and
Yeah.
then you're taking a little turn that's taking you up, up. And it just took the whole thing without budging, like a bit.
Yeah. Okay.
And
That's a huge game changer then.
and that's purely from
So,
gradient track because I've taken the same route on the GTS before the gradient tracking update, and I'd have to walk the board at the top at the one spot.
because it would dip when mounting or what?
It gets too steep. So as you start to climb up, it takes you up gradually, and then once you start to get to the top, like summit, you got to take like a punchy climb up that
Yeah.
levels off and then gradually takes you to the top. Well, that punchy climb up, I would never be able to make that to then take the easier sweeping climb
Oh,
that's
okay.
after it. This day, we just went up, and I'm just like, this is the first spot that I would usually have to get off, and we all just made it up effortlessly.
Guys,
Nice.
I'm laughing here. I have the best time of my life here because I'm seeing the face of Jaffa. When Jaffa is one of the
I'm like,
crazy guys, I'm just imagining tomorrow he's going to be in the internet and buying a GTS.
Yeah, so I will say this, especially as a bigger dude on a GTS, the
The three
mileage
of us
is
are
not
bigger dudes, my friend. The three of
true.
us are
True. The mileage is the difference in what you're gonna get. So this place, this day, I would say I pulled maybe 9 miles total, and we were riding pretty tame and pretty chill. We weren't beating on it up going uphill. We just wanted to make it to the top. 9 miles is like, and then the most I've seen on trails out of the board might be like 12 to 13. So you're dealing with pint range, but you have the power and the ride and drive through the entire battery. Like, yo, my boy
yeah.
Quade's in here. What up, man? That's one of my homies from Colorado. Look out for him too. Doc Gorilla on Instagram. He's a ripper too, low key. Uh, he rides out in Colorado. Terrain's nasty out there, and he's out there on a GT against a bunch of guys on Vesks too, and he holds
Oh,
it
nice.
down. He holds it down. Yeah,
Okay, we'll have to check that out.
yeah.
What's his name on Instagram?
Doc Gorilla. I don't know if there's numbers after. Put it in there, Quaid. If
in Instagram.
on Instagram.
Send me to the link to me. You have the private chat. You can send to me.
Let me find him.
So I'm just going to interrupt. I'm going to ask just a question to you. Do you try any Vesks?
Yes, I have. My one buddy, he's built a couple vests. He has a pint vest. He vest on switchblade with suspension, and then I think he just had another one that he had built up. Yeah, I've tried them. I like them.
Yeah, but I'm just doing this question because I want to. First of all, Jaffa is one of the guys who has the GT. He has a Vesk too. He has a float wheel. He's a guy who loves this sport a lot. I'm just doing this question because how can you compare it today, a Vesk with a GTS?
They are. I mean, at this point, after they did the gradient tracking, they've come a lot more level aside from the remote. So we'll speak remoteless because that is a dynamic difference between the two, like that on demand nose clearance. If you want it, you got it. So like we'll take that out and we'll just talk, ATR to ATR type situation. They are now like very, very close to one another as far as how they perform. Uh, the
For
main
big
diff
guys.
for big guys, the main difference would be, I would say, is just there's so much more that you can tune on the Vesk than the GTS, but I would say the GTS is more. It's more user friendly. It's almost like looking at Android and iPhone. It's you want to be able to do everything, whatever you want to do, or just get out and ride type of situation. Um, but yeah, I feel like Future Motion took a huge step in the right direction, adding that update to the board. And here's the spot where I would never be able to get up. We literally just like I would never be able to get through these spots right here. And then these are some slow rollers that happen after like a punchy climb that takes you up. And we would never be able to make that. And we just
Yeah,
climb up the entire thing.
I see
Um,
Jaffa. I see Jaffa riding the GT, and sometimes, as big guys that we are, I see that the GT just throw us away. We don't have no chance. At least the power was not there. And when is the power is not there, they say okay, bye bye.
yeah.
And with the Vesk, you don't have that problem. Now with the GTS, do you have that problem or not? Because the big problem for us was always the nosedive, because the machine
And
tells us no and
and you're talking
goodbye.
high speed, right? Like we've reached the max, and
Oh,
all of a sudden,
even
like
even even for starting,
Yeah,
yeah, like we just
like
overpower it and the nose just goes type of
yeah.
yeah,
situation.
Hmm.
So
when you start up, you put the nose down, but if you put it down too fast, you just instantly nosedive.
it's
I'm just telling this because I see Jaffa racing last year with the GT, and I know he's a very crazy rider, and he was having problems with the situation with the GT because the GT don't have the power what he needs, and is the GTS this problem solved when you push it like you push a lot. You are a big guy too, and
hold on.
the
I'm
two
about
of
to
us are big ones, and not so big like me, but. The problem is we want to have the juice of this GTS and say, okay, we're going to push it up hills, and is not going to say, no, it's enough. You're going to always, like I see you now, going uphill was no problem for you.
So it's a lot different between I just put a link in for you to so
Okay.
this is a video that when I got the GTS, I went out the street behind my house. It's a slight uphill, and I wanted to practice starts. I'm like, okay, how's the board act when I just jump on the front end
Mm-hmm.
and try to go from the start? And
Mm-hmm.
you'll see the dynamic. Like when I say I'm
I want to put
hammering
it
it
more.
to the point where like I'm trying to make it dip, and I do make it dip, but
Like
you'll
a flying
see,
stars thing.
that like it has, and that's the one thing that the GT's lacking. And honestly, I'm really hoping and praying that in some form they allow the gradient tracking to the GT, because in many of the little climbs, that's the issue. It's just the nose clearance. If you had nose clearance, you could have kept momentum and then made it up. This is a short, just so you know. It's not a
Yeah,
full
yeah.
video. Okay.
Give me just a second. I'm
Yep.
just going to change it here, just for us to find it. Where is this?
And
Here we
and
are.
the big difference is with the GTS, and mainly with the update, because I don't you didn't do the update. So the dynamic response is one of the specs and it changes the stiffness of the board. So you can kind of set it up to where instead of the board front end like dipping so low as you start, it's a lot more solid. But like I'm on a slight uphill and I'm just hammering on the front end, like taking off. And actually just motivated me. I'm going to do another video where I take my GT and the GTS to the same spot and take off, and like the GT would have nosedived on this all day. Like the very end on the second
This
pour.
is on the GT.
This is the
This
GTS. Like just
this
showing
is
you the
GTS.
difference.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you would have I would have nosedived on the GT.
But do you think that the sensor is better? Like for us in Europe, I know Jaffa, when he was making the races this year, you have to jump before you start. Do you the sensor works good too?
Sensor is definitely all right.
You know what I
So
mean, Jaffa,
yeah,
right?
So as bigger guys, as a
Yeah,
big, I feel like I've never really had an issue with the sensor. Like when I step on the sensor and I want to go, I'm on it and it activates. But I do remove the little extra film of plastic that they put on there,
yeah.
just to
That's
make it,
that that's that's what makes it different.
yeah.
But I did it as well, and I had a spill on a trail, and like a rock pierced my sensor, and my sensor broke. So I
Do
did
you
it
have
once. I don't know if I'm gonna do it again.
do you have a Sure Start?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now that problem is fixed on one of my GTs.
Word.
Because my GT with the Sure Start in it, I messed up the sorry, messed up the foot pad connector, so that was in the shop for a few months, and I'm going back to a GT without the Sure Start. The difference was insane. Even my son, he couldn't activate the sensor properly. He had to like really wiggle to start when it was colder.
I was gonna ask, was it cold? Yeah, it's in the cold,
Yeah,
honestly. I feel like there comes a point that no matter what, once it's cold, there's going to be some kind of sensor activation issues.
yeah,
Like if you lean
yeah. We have the
slightly
same
one way or
with the
another, like
car.
with the extra
Yeah.
plastic, without, like it's the nature of the beast, of just the shrinkage that happens. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's. I feel like it's a lot, but I removed the film, the issues, and again, I feel like I've never really had issues on sensor pads. Just being heavier, I stomp down on it, it activates. The one
Yeah.
thing I would update is when they gave us the single zone sensor in the update. Um, it only lasts for the very beginning of the ride. Once you start going, it goes back to dual zone. So then if you slow down again and say you're in some chunk or whatever, you need to shift your weight to do something. If you come off your
Yeah.
heel or toe side too much, the sensor is going to deactivate
Oh,
because
so then
because
yeah,
it's
then
on.
it cuts off.
That's why I asked if you have a shore start, because even with the update, excuse me, I keep a short start for the fact that I want that permanent posi. I want to know that if I lift my heel or toe, it's never going to
Yeah,
deactivate.
it's not gonna. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's the safest way to do it. Gonna check in the chat if there are still some questions. Um,
Oh, I didn't see Swanky comment before. What up?
Funky is also a guy you ride with,
Somebody on
or is it?
Instagram. You know how social
Okay.
media is. You chit chat with everybody.
Yeah, 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 indeed.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm almost certain that's exactly how functions the activation on the foot pad, Swanky. Like once you start going, after a while, it goes back to a dual zone. So then if you slow down again, you can still do the heel lift to get off the board. Um, they mainly just fix the issue for the initial start, like so that way you can just jump on the board and go.
The place where you're riding now, are these mountain bike trails, or is this just improvised, or?
They're all mountain bike trails. This is
Yeah,
actually a newer a spot that I found. We've been finding new trails there. Um, and these are trails that we usually didn't ride that often. We'd usually be riding just on the other side of this where there's different trails. Um, but yeah, these are mountain bike trails. They've been cutting more and more of them out here. Uh, and we just found
yeah.
a trail that they just finished that takes you like 2 miles over to a lake. That's absolutely phenomenal. Like has the
Oh,
elevation
nice.
and the flow and everything. It's awesome. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what we were searching for in Belgium because we go a lot to the Netherlands with Muddy and his crew. You know him as well, Muddy
Hmm.
from Utrecht, from the Netherlands, because they have like the best shaped mountain bike trails that I ever ridden, and we just take the route there. Sometimes we're 2 hours in the car, but it's totally worth it.
So
And you
there's
can
some
ride.
questions. There's some questions here for you guys.
Yes, I did, Quade. We actually just talked about that. I was just reading the comment. Yeah, the uphill.
Okay.
That's this video that he's playing right now.
And then we have another question is the plan for the
For
season.
the season from PJ.
Oh, so my plan for the season. So right now, I'll say my event list is first one I'm going to be at is Oak City. That's in May, and then after that, I believe I'm going to Colorado for the Underground. I think that's in June. July is Wheel Scorcher. That's in North Carolina. I'll be at that. Float Life Fest. I'll be at that. and then I want to go to Race for the Rail kind of as like a spectator, um, just to watch and whatnot. Because I doubt I'm gonna make the rail because I'm racing Clydesdale. I'm not racing with everybody else.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'd love to go just as a spectator, just to watch it because I feel like it would be an
Why
awesome
not?
experience. Yeah, like just go video the whole thing, keep the 360 on at all times, and just come back home and cut together just like a sick
And
come with me. Like literally take everybody on the experience. So it's like you went to Race for the Rail, just so you can see. Um,
why not? You cannot race. You are a
I'm
good
racing.
rider.
I'm racing Clydesdale, so I've been
Okay.
advocating and pushing for Clydesdale. I really want them to have, again, a Grom, normal, weight class, and then a heavyweight Race for the Rail type scene. So then that way, again, it gives people, aspirations for the kids to, not every kid is going to grow up and be the same size, so it would really
Yeah.
stink for a Grom to fall in love with the sport and do all of this, that, and the third. And just because of their body type, it sets them in a place that makes it
I
extremely
like that.
difficult for them to even compete in a sport that they fell in love with. And all they hear is like, oh, you got to lose weight. But it's like, no, if your build is to a point where you can't just lose weight like that. You grew up, you're a 6'3" kid weighing 230 pounds. And, because your parents are, from wherever, Norwegian or whatever, and you just have big body builds out there. And it's like, they should have their chance in place too. So
Yeah,
that's why
yeah,
I continually advocate for the Clydesdales.
Okay, I'm going to put the question. Do you reach the for the FM to talk about this situation? Like ask him, or did they n-
It's
listen to
it's
you?
I've brought it up. I talk with the factory team guys a lot, especially when they were doing the Riders Summit, before they created the team. And just I would always just spread my side and just even on my Instagram stories, just I would speak my piece on how I felt about it. And, they watch my stories and they spread it and they know it's something that is wanted. And that's why at all the events there is a Clydesdale race. There's a Clydesdale class for you to be able to do it. But my main thing is like we all want our Super Bowl too. We want our big game at the end to go
yeah. Of
to that,
course.
that we've been out here, putting our bodies on the line for. So again, I am optimistic. I'm hopeful that, change will happen at some point. I mean, things have been changing rapidly as is. Uh, Again, my main thing is also it's the greed in me. It's like, oh, I want it now because I only have so much time in life to be able to ride at this point. So it's the greed in me. But
It's true.
again, that's
It's
that's where
true.
I sit back and I say, like, more than for me, I want it just for the community because of what it would do to the sport and just having those areas in the sport. It would just, you know, make it more well-rounded.
I have to make another question. It's like this. It's not. I have something against future
Oh, fire
motion,
away.
but it's like this. You are a fantastic rider.
Thank you.
You are a guy who you just have future motion machines. You are a guy who's making lots of propaganda for this company. And I listen to your idea, and I think what you are speaking for these kids is beautiful. And most of the people have to think about that. And I think they have to listen more to you and give more reactions to what are you doing, your ideas, and that's why we grow this community. And uh, it's sometimes sad for us not to be. It's easy for you to make a answer in your videos, but maybe not try to talk to you personally to listen to your ideas. I think that is what we makes grows this
I
community.
I think this year is going to be a big year when it comes to this new board that people have under their feet because looking back on times, people's times at different events and whatnot, there's a handful of Clydesdale riders out there that really aren't that far off in the pack when it comes to racing with the main guys. And that was on GTs. So I feel like with this new board under our feet, many times you could say, it's not the board, it's the rider. But now that we are in a situation where like we have a board and now we have a rider, so like now that rider has the ability to possibly rise up. And the next thing you know, you could have, any of the 215-pound plus guys sitting in the middle of the pack with, the lighter guys,
Yeah,
because who
it's
knows,
gonna become closer, the competition.
weight going downhill might help us when it comes to staying on the board and the chunk and whatnot, and like we may have advantages there versus like they have advantages on the climb. So it this year's going to be a pivotal year. I'm again, I'm still hopeful and dreaming that they give us our own lane, but I'll be honest with what the board can do now. This GTS, like I've been riding it, and like I've fallen in love with the board all over again. Like it's an animal,
You
absolute
think
It's the
animal.
it's actually the same like I have when I started riding Rusk. Like
Yeah, like
when I
it's
hear you talking, it's like because before when I was riding the FM boards, uh, I had an advantage when it was downhill racing because of I'm a bit heavier. But when I had to go up, there was no way for me to.
lost
Sometimes
call.
I just even dipped or had to walk up, like you say.
Yep.
And when I raced now with the float wheel for the first time, because there was a big uphill on the WoW event race. Yeah, I tried it once with my GT. I tried it with my float wheel and was like, I need to race this board. And it was the first time that I could keep up with the with other guys. That on the FM board was impossible.
It's the same
I
response too. Like
remember
if
you
you take a
riding with that, and
GT,
you tell me.
I was gonna say if you take a GT and then you take a GTS, you'd have that same response you had between like the GT and the float wheel. It's aside from the power, like what they just gave us with gradient tracking just changed the game. Like I said, I've taken my GTS to that same trail and I've ridden up that same trail, hammering it. Like I said, we were cruising that day. I've gone up with the intent of like, I want to make it all the way up. So I need to carry speed to go up this punchy climb, and I would still never make it. That day, we were just cruising, just flowing up the hill. Like we're chit chatting and talking to one another through the whole ride. Like just say, like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Do you feel like just in awe of the
Okay.
board? And we make it to the top and we're just like, are you kidding me? Like we just made the whole thing effortlessly.
But my friend, how long did it take now when you use your battery with the GTS?
Mm.
How many hours is going to take, or hour is going to take for you to charge again?
It's a little over 90 minutes, I want to say. Like I
With
think
the
the average
fast charger or
with the
normal
fast
charger?
charger, with the fast charger.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think I think the advertised time is 90 minutes. As we know, batteries waver in time. It might be a hair over that. Um, but from the GT days, I always lived by the rule of 80. Like I would look at 80% as enough for me to go out and ride. And now with the GTS, the fact that it's got usable power throughout the entire range, like you can literally ride with 15% and be hitting the trail and have the most confidence in the world that you're not going to lose it because it's just built different now.
Jeffrey, you are. Sorry to make some questions because I'm very curious because I lose my trust in a future motion because I was having lots of issues with my weight, and I could not trust. I don't know how many nosedives that I did it with my uh, XR and everything. Today I have a Vesk, and now you are putting me in one position that I'm curious to know a little more about if that is so a big change with this. Now you telling me the settings and everything. If that is everything that we hope to have.
So I'll break it down like this. It's like what I say, if you have a Vesk, go get a GTS. You're going to be more impressed or happier or anything like that. I wouldn't say you're going to be more impressed. I wouldn't say you're going to be less impressed. Will you enjoy your ride? Yes, you're going to enjoy your ride thoroughly. Um, but to expect one to be better than the other, it's
You can only
at,
know it when you ride both.
right. Like it's
So
and one
before
board is only
I
going to be able
try,
to go so far, as we know, and the other one you can change everything. So it's just recognizing that. But blindfold, ride for ride. If you were to go blind and you get on one board and you ride it, now obviously if you've been riding one wheels, you can tell the difference between a Vesk and a Future Motion
yeah,
board. But aside from that, blind, if you could ride that same trail and like just flow and go and have the confidence in the safety factor of like you riding over some chunk in the trail, you can have the same confidence on either board, flow and go, because it's a matter of physics. No matter what, there's always going to be the point of nosedive on
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
on a one wheel, no matter how much power we put under it.
Mm-hmm.
But the nose confidence that you have now, that like you're worried about like going uphill and having the nose just dig in on you. Now that it has gradient tracking, now that it has more power, all the the voltage that we have, it's a way safer machine. Way safer machine when it comes to bigger riders. And again, that video, I fell going uphill twice.
Okay.
On any normal day, that would have been half a dozen. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like that's the drastic difference of like number of times that I'd possibly dig my nose in going up that trail. Uh, it's
Yeah.
it's night and
Yeah.
day. It's night and
I,
like, and again, I wouldn't say you're gonna go from Vesk and ride that and be like, oh my God, it's life changing, or the other way around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're both competitive boards now. Like we can get out there now and really have that battle of the Vesk and GTS, where before the GT just didn't have what was needed to
for me,
have that true battle.
I try to struggle. Sometimes I think the future emotion lose with us because, like you see now, there is this propaganda to make. If you want to give your XR or if you want to give your GT, you're going to receive. But that is just for USA. That's why the Vesk is so coming so good in Europe because we don't have nothing for us here. Like Jaffa, maybe Jaffa wants to buy the GTS and change for the GT. Example doesn't happen for us in Europe. We don't have that
To be
chance.
honest, if I had the money, I would have bought it already.
Yeah, but you
But
understand
now
what
I
I'm,
have.
Jaffa. But you
It,
understand what I mean.
and
I
it's
think that
sad.
is
It is a
unfair.
sad. Yeah, it is. Like
Is
it's.
and then that we have to go to the Vesk. We don't have no chance.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's and that's an area honestly that's even hard to have a a response or retort for, because it's,
We buy
I
it
mean,
here.
unless they obviously open up a facility overseas, and
Hmm.
this, that, and
Yeah, that's
whatnot.
the main thing holding us back.
But I
Because
feel like
I had to.
I
Yeah.
feel like we're still in a point of recovery when it comes to, the XR days, the troubles that were caused, from, lawsuit and the CPSC and all of that good jazz, right? So I feel like we're on a trend now where we have this board that is insanely safe in the realm of boards. So I feel like where energies were being spent in one direction because we had to clean up shop, so to speak, when it comes to the lawsuits, things happening and all that. It's like now that we have that
Yeah.
out the way, we get that out of the way. We have a board now that is safer than ever. So all of that stuff shouldn't really happen again. People understand the liability behind it, and you're on a safer board. So now they can hopefully put their energies into other more positive things.
Hmm.
Possibly, I mean, we already see what they're taking a step in the direction for right to repair when it comes to offering parts. So with that, I'm hoping comes an expansion, be it overseas, so that way they can service
Yeah, but we don't
because
have
To do it
nothing like that.
worldwide. Yeah.
We don't have nothing like that. We listen. I asked this question for so many years. I'm one of the guys who start with the future motion in the beginning with the V1, and I always listen every year. Maybe they're going to come, like what you are saying now. Maybe going to go to Europe, rest of the world, and never come. And then you see now for 1 week ago, oh guys, sorry, that is just for USA, and it's like they are excluding us out of this, and trying to ban the companies who are trying to find a solution for us to write. For us, it's very difficult. And you see, like Jacobo is telling, the real problem still is I cannot wait and spend a lot of money if I broke my one wheel. We have to wait maybe 2 months, three
yeah.
months to receive our boards back. That is the question. And then you see the companies being sued and close the doors, and we don't have nothing. And maybe I would like to try the GTS. Maybe. Because I'm listening to you. You are a rider, and you are a fast rider. And you ride in a very bad weather. And I see your machine riding very good. And maybe we want to buy it here. What is what is going to happen to us, what we're going to expect. buy something, and I have friends from Portugal. My friend in Portugal was 2 days before the 1 year warranty, and he contacted Future Motion. They say, okay, you don't have any more warranty, and that is upsetting.
I know. It's my heart goes out to y'all, honestly. Like to be honest, if I lived where you were at, I would probably be riding a Vesk too. You know what I mean? Just for that factor, the ease of being able to, get your board fixed and keep on riding.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
a safe option for us.
it's
and
yeah,
and you have to think, like he said here, and you have to pay the shipping,
yeah.
$200. My friend.
I mean, I'd say it's definitely safe to say until they open a facility.
Emotional damage.
Yeah, like until they open a
The
facility over
emotion.
there, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard, that's for
And
sure.
I
Yeah.
look to you, my friend, when Jaffa asked you, what are you riding? And you told us you are riding two
Two
GTS.
GTS.
And I was like, wow, that is fantastic. Because us here, we don't listen never something like that. It's like, for us, it's like, and then you see the prices. I was one of the first guys who put, I think that is so bad. When you buy two GTS, like you buy it, when I want to buy these two GTs for you, you're going to buy it three, my friend. The price, what
Oh,
we
the
is going to,
price
the price is going
difference?
to be three. Three for you is going to be
Yeah,
two
for
for
shipping
us.
and the tax.
Yeah.
Shipping, everything, and it's like buy two, receive one in USA for us.
And for me, the only reason I got to was because so I got the first one on the release when it happened because my thinking is I'm like, okay, that's going to be the best deal. Like, yeah, Black Friday's coming, but why would they offer a better deal Black Friday than what they would on the release? One would think, but they still offered the same good discount on Black Friday. So I'm like, man, this is going to be the cheapest you can buy it all year long or ever is always Black Friday. So I went on a mission to sell a GT and to sell as many extra parts as I had. If I could get within
Whoa.
$500
Mhm.
of being able to buy another GTS, I would get a GTS. And I had to do it before the weekend was over. And literally, I got to work, and one of the homies bought my one GT, and I was able to sell a couple things and tire this, that, and the other, and was able to get within 500. So then I bought another, and that was purely because of the Black Friday deal.
I'm
Otherwise,
just
I'd only have one and
Yeah,
two
but
GTs.
I'm just going to tell you like this. It's not something, we don't want to put you in a bad situation with Future Motion. I think Future Motion makes a fantastic job for you guys in USA. It's not a bad job. I think the GTS is something very good for all of us. Maybe for you guys more because it's everything more for the USA customer. But like Jacobo is telling, riding tricks and trails, I broke 3 to 4 boards in 1 year. So do you
Yeah.
imagine a person who likes to do like a Jaffa? He likes to make tricks too. He likes to go speed, and you have 3, 4 boards in your home, and all of them they are broken.
Yeah, it's a heartbreaking scene.
And you have
That
this
is
in
a
the
heartbreaking scene.
USA, and it's two
Time for
hundred
depression.
bucks. 4 boards, sending four is you are buying already a new
Another
board.
board, yeah.
That is not good. And listen, I'm not complaining with you. I'm very happy because you put me and Jaffa in a bad situation, because I'm listening to you talking about the GTS, and the two of us are like crazy here. Is like that or not, Jaffa? I know you very
Yeah, but
well.
when the GTS came out, I just bought my second GT was a used one, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna sell these two GTs and then I'll buy a GTS. But then I got humbled. I was like, if I get into trouble with warranty, it's like it's game over. If I mess up the board myself and it's not fixable under warranty, it's gonna cost me too much.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah,
And
It's like
again, with you guys being on
that attitude.
desks, like I said, you guys have you. It's kind of funny. You guys have had all the sauce that like I'm now like ramped up and raving about has been in a Vesk. So and that's why I say just because like you ride a GTS, you might have that. You might not have that like mind blown like oh my god this is insane. But you need to remember like compare future motion board to future motion board. Like XR to GT to GTS and what
Yeah,
you're got, and then think like okay how does this compare to the Vesk? Because again, the Vesk has already had the things that we have just now been released on, an FM board. So it's like, okay, you gotta give price. It's like, okay, they did a good job,
No, no,
adding
no,
this
no,
to the
no. The
system.
Future Motion always
Yeah,
had that but they never put these features there
yeah.
because they have the chance to do it. Because the VESC is something that is already created. They are using the VESC, but with the updates from them. But the Future Motion as safety, they never put that out. Because the safety is what they always you see about some months ago was a company in USA that told that one wheels was not safe and people can die, and then they
USPSC,
ask
I was
they
talking
ask
about.
the riders to help them and everything, because safety is important. I know the laws in USA is very crazy, and you have to be
Hmm.
careful what everything you do. Maybe you're going to be your company can close. But my question to you, I like this. I don't want to. Is like another comment here is like Jacopo. Now we are starting to have lots of races here in Europe, and Jacopo was telling 2 weeks before the Gratinara. Gratinara is the Float Italia.
Hmm.
You have to buy a second-hand one wheel because the other two was broken, and you have to send it to Future Motion, and you don't have that chance to ride, and that is very sad. I want to make this question: where you riding? You fix yourself your boards if you have any problems. There's some guys on your group that you ride that fix the boards, or you guys send all of the boards when there is a problem to Future Motion.
So it depends on what state of warrant. Like, I'll talk to me personally. Like, what other people do with their boards, it's on them. And me
Mm-hmm.
personally, it depends on the state of warranty and that it's in. So shout out to the sponsor, One Stop Board Shop. They largely help out when it comes to fixing things on here on the East Coast, Jersey, New York, Philly area. So if you ever need any help on your board working on things, hit them up. They do great work. I got one of my homies. He's the one who builds all the Vesks. So anything XR related, like some of the guys who are still riding CBXRs and things like that, he helps them out upgrading to bigger batteries and things like that. If it's a GT, now we're at the point all of my GTs are out of warranty. So if anything were to happen with them, I'd probably either take it over to One Stop if they couldn't do anything with it. Um, then I'd have to send it in. And the GTSs, if they're in warranty, I'd send them back. Uh, but yeah, for the most part, it's again, if it's out of warranty, we're probably going to try to fix it ourselves.
Yeah, it's like we have custom wheel shop, like for all our Vesk batteries or Vesk stuff. We can you can go to him for like he also fixed my connector, my footpad connector
Mhm.
from the GT. So that's how we do it if we cannot fix it ourselves.
Cool
Uh,
part is One Stop's actually starting to get real handy because they're actually doing Vesks now. So if you wanted to get a Vesk installed in your XR or whatever, do a conversion, like you could take it there and they can do it for you.
yeah, they can do it for you in the
So
US. Yeah,
so
okay.
with that, I'm hoping comes the ability to tinker and mess with the GT and their ability to fix those more readily. If there are any issues versus people having to take them into Future Motion. So um, it's
Okay.
another bug I can put in their ear and say, hey, you should try to do this. But they're great over there. Great group of guys. Brian's the homie. Like he supported me from the start. When I first got a one wheel, I went on my first group ride with One Stop Board Shop. I approached him because once I fell in love with one wheel riding, I knew that I wanted to do more and I wanted to grow something here in New Jersey when it came to racing as a feeder league for the sport in general. And I told him my idea briefly in Dream, and I was like, but we're going to have a longer talk. And he was totally accepting of it because he actually had that same type of dream when he first started doing one wheels, was doing the shop thing. And it's like, you can't do everything at one time. So he had to pick his battle and the shop thing, which I'm glad he did, because with that, without him, uh, what I'm doing would be very hard and almost impossible. Um, So yeah.
But
Yeah.
let me just ask you something. We are seeing now the Future Motion make lots of battles with lots of companies, lots of shops. This one is not. We see like the batteries was a problem with the
Mm.
batteries and everything, and they shut them down. Uh, do you know if the one wheel stop has any problems with the Future Motion? Because I know that the Float Life is having lots of sues against.
I'll be honest with you. I stay out of the politics.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So like with them, like
Smart.
to my knowledge and
Mm-hmm.
everything, no, I don't think Brian's had any issues. Brian's the kind of person that he's like me. He stays out of the politics. He stays
Uh-huh.
out of, so he tries to he stays clear. He's keeps clean.
And that is
And
good for him.
that's what I love about him because like I know that I could work with him and in any facet and know that I'm not gonna have the issues because just like me, he ain't about the BS. So
Yes, yes.
uh
That's why I love to see these companies because we have a fantastic company who help here the riders. Like you are talking the one stop boards. They are lots of years already here, and we have the custom that is from Victor here in Europe, and he do lots of stuff for the riders. It is not easy for us to
mhm.
find companies to invest in us. Tell us a little like this. This company is one of the ones who support you, and what is the other companies who support you as a rider? Because I think that is important.
So as a rider, I've got One Stop, Armadillos, Tire Sealant.
Yes.
I reached out to them. So on my usual setup, I actually stud all my tires, even on regular trails, like especially if it's like hard patch clay, dirt, leafy, piney, sandy stuff. Um, that extra traction in the turns, it doesn't
From
drift,
Curry.
so it's something I've always done. So I reached out to them and I'm like, hey, I run studs. Any chance, we could work together, and they were willing to, send me out some armadillos. So uh, grateful for
He's a
them.
fantastic guy,
Yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, One
and
Stop
he's
armadillos.
making a big event in März in
Stoke birds going on.
yes,
Yeah, Stoke bird.
and it's free, guys. If you want to go
Yeah.
there, that is in Miami, and if
Yep.
you want to go there, that is everything free, and that is for all the PVs, not just for the one wheels. If you have a AUC or a bike or it doesn't matter, just come to the event. I think they're going to make again another year of a big event, and we need more events like this one.
And then furthermore, as a rider, I would say Float Life. I recently joined on with them as far as being a part of their affiliate
Mm-hmm.
program and promoting for them. And aside from that, like there's times I'll reach out to them, just looking for help. It's like, hey, there's some new stuff out. Like, I funny thing is like I have this rapport with different companies to where like I don't know, there's just this love there, and like I talk about them, they help me out if I ask, and it's just been nice to just meet people who are like genuinely willing to help people like who are just trying to make the sport better. So Float Life, shout out to them, and
Way to put it here for everybody. Jeff, always
yeah,
there.
Jeff's the man. Jeff is the
He's one
man.
of the pioneers, one
Yeah,
of the guys who
Jeff is the
started.
man. Um,
Yeah, he really changed the whole one wheel game.
Yeah, like I reached out to
Oh,
him about some rails one time, and that's how the affiliate thing happened. I was just like, hey, how do I, end up, getting in there some way somehow? And he told me who to email, and that was it. And I've been happy to. My main thing with them is they literally produce like needed products at a proper price point, and there's no, as things cost money to make, I get it,
hmm
but at a point, I feel like we should be trying to, govern how much things because we're already looking at a $3,000 entry point just for the sport. So it's like after that, it's like you spend 3,000, and the next thing you know, I think they did that video, the most expensive one wheel, and it's like just
Yeah.
doing some upgrades, and then comes out, like 5 grand later. It's like you could buy a car, like RV,
Uh,
travel around for that price, and it's
if you have a girl or a wife, you don't say numbers. We're going to have
yeah.
no.
problems.
And I'm blessed, that my lady, like, she doesn't, give me any, guff about it or
Yeah,
whatnot. I make sure she's happy at
yeah.
home, and like She knows I need it for my therapy though. It's like I gotta
Yeah,
get like I gotta get out the house. I'll be back, and I'm out. But the cool thing about it is beautiful thing with one wheel, and it's another thing. Men preaches to your ladies.
Mm-hmm.
One boy, it's only 2 hours really, if
Mm-hmm.
you think about it. So like where there's other things. So when I used to stunt ride the motorcycles, I could be going all day long. Literally get up at sunrise, go into Philly, and we could ride all day until it's nighttime, ride into the mid like I could be out all day, all night.
Okay, that
yeah.
is a
She
good
knows
Where
thing.
when your battery's down, you're coming home.
that's
So
it, I'm coming home. So it's like, okay,
but
left,
but but
I'll see him in 2, 3 hours max,
okay.
So
Where you living? You have lots of riders.
So we have, I wouldn't say we have a lot of riders. We have a few. The issue is the distance between us. Like we don't all live in like I'm envious of the people who have that like network of local people, like Oak City. Down there, that's like a family down there. There's people who live near one another, and you could go by the one homie Joe's house, and there's always somebody out there, you could possibly ride with. Don't have that here. I'm the only
So.
one it's me, my buddy Steve. There might be 3, 4 of us
Mm-hmm.
more local to one another, but we're still about 20 minutes from one another.
Yeah,
And then everybody,
that is a bliss. For me, I
yeah,
have to
like
go
20.
2 hours or more.
yeah,
Well, then from there, it gets longer. It's like 20 minutes there. And then the next people are like 40 minutes to an hour. And then it just gets longer from there. It's like to go Long Island. Now you're looking at a couple hours driving out there. So I don't have a lot of people concentrated, but the network of people that we built in Jersey has been amazing. Like we're all generally older gentlemen. When I say older, just because, we're almost
Mm-hmm.
40 now at this point. Um, and we all just love to ride. We all have this passion from back in the day. Oh, shout out to Function too. That's another company that is big on my list that support me as a rider. Dave is amazing. Uh, yeah, the wrist guards. It's the only thing to run. Um,
Yeah, it's something that the people are using a lot in USA and make lots of propaganda for these gloves. They are so good.
they're great because it's one of those things where there are other brands out there that do the wrist guard on, front and back, and it gets to a point where it's overkill. Like you don't have the freedom to be able to move and feel comfortable. You're just like locked and rigid the whole time. So these are a perfect balance where the strap acts like your support on your wrist while strapping down the bottom plastic plate. So keeps your hands from hitting the ground. Like these literally save lives and keep people riding because without wrist guards like that, it the amount of broken wrists and it'd be terrible.
I ordered a pair through Gerard
Yeah.
from the guy who raced that for us from Europe to race for the rail because he
Mm-hmm.
had like he could buy a GT from Future Motion or
Okay.
he had like he could
Yeah.
do a big order because he wrote the race for the rails finals.
Okay, that is good. So that everything what I'm putting here, guys, just for you, ladies and boys and girls, that is everything from his Instagram. People who are supporting him as a rider, and it's always
Joe
nice for us
Hooks.
to talk.
Joe Hooks is another one that I mentioned.
Yeah,
We were talking about before.
yeah,
That's one of the
that's what I'm
homies.
putting
Yeah,
here now.
yeah. Joe Hooks. That's the
And
bindings that I use.
mhm.
They're like I said, best
I
bang
see
for your
it.
buck.
You talk about them in the
Yeah.
beginning, and I see you riding with them.
Yep.
That is a good option for all of us. Do you try other ones or do you just try these ones?
Yep. So I've tried other ones. So before these, I tried something called a soul, which it's more like a tow hook. It kind of kept you from running off the front of the board. I tested those for another company that they were called Solbra, and then from there I've actually got some control freaks that got sent to me from Riley, and I'm going to test those out and see how they are and give my review on those. Um, I've had flight fins. Flight
Mm-hmm.
fins are another great binding to use. Different perspective on like how your stance is. Being taller, I like
Different
the
riding
wider
style.
stance versus feet closer together. But if you're shorter, they're the perfect combo because your feet are
Yeah,
going to be closer together.
that is a good thing. Uh, so the other thing I would like to uh, ask here is let me just because my friend here he puts I want to because he supports Jaffa, and I want to put him here because sorry. Okay, here you are. I think it's important. Jaffa,
Yeah.
tell us a little more about this guy is doing for Europe. Just
Yeah,
only.
Victor from Custom Wheel Shop is like the guy. I met him at the first one wheel race I went to that I told you about, like the music festival.
Mhm.
Who did a race as well. Was the first time I saw a Vesk in real life, and we're talking about 2 or 3 years back. Huh? So he came up to me and was like, "Yeah, there's this thing called Vesk. I never heard about it." I'm like, "Yeah, my one wheel can do 50 kilometers per hour. You can try it, this and that." But Vesk was not stable back then. Huh? So
Mhm.
I wrote his one wheel was like I'll like the Vesk from him. I wrote it was like all shaky, this and that. But I just came into one wheeling. I just had my first WTF rails on the XR, and he told me the price point. I was like, okay, we stop talking to each other because you're gonna cost me too much money. And back then it wasn't even that expensive like it is now. Huh?
Yeah.
So I'm never gonna forget that moment that he told me, yeah, this one can go 50 kilometers per hour because back then was like my top speed was 38. I don't know how much it is in
Mm-hmm.
miles per hour because 38 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, it's around 33,
But
34
then,
miles per hour.
yeah, but then growing the community, we get to go on rides with him and Jose, like my teammate from at Skirt, already had a Vesk through him that he was testing. So every now and then I could ride the updates and this and that, and then yeah, like a year after or 2 years after, I finally, I think after the Switzerland race, like using Hannes Veskman's boards. Then I was like, yeah, really convinced. Like, okay, I need to try this. Um, so yeah, that's how we came in touch with Custom Wheel Shop, and yeah, it's like a big sponsor to all the events and helping everyone out with the vest. So yeah, that's how we got to know him.
So, my question, I'm going to put it like this: you as a rider, I'm going to put you, the two of you. I think you are two types of riders. Uh, what settings are you using today in your GTS? What settings? What rails? The original ones? Do you have the original tire? What you put in your machine? And for you, my friend, I'm going to put you the same for Jaffa. What is for you now in the moment the best tire that you are using?
For me, for him,
For him
Kyle,
first, and then
I'll
for
go.
you.
I'll go first.
Kyle.
So for my GTS, my settings. So I've been running Highline in the GTS. So the GT, I always used to run Apex, but I always liked how Highline felt. But it just didn't have enough on the climbs. So that's the only reason I would use Apex was for the climbs. Once I got a GTS, I tried Apex out, and that's when I realized it almost has too much power. And going uphill, you'd break traction. Like if there was loose dirt or gravel going uphill, you'd spin. So backed it up to
Mm-hmm.
Highline, and I've been running Highline, kicked the brakes up a little bit, just being heavier. Highline didn't have the brakes in the beginning, so kick those up a little bit, stiffen the nose up a little bit with dynamic shaping, and then the gradient tracking. I have it on very subtle. Like it's the tune I have right now. I forget the numbers, and if you want it, I'll share it with you. Message me in the app.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's very subtle. It's one of those tunes where the board does everything that you would have wanted it to do before. Like when you're riding and the board would act, and it's like, oh, I wish the board would have done this when it comes to like the climb, or I wish the board would have. That's how it acts. It's not something where you ride it and you blatantly feel like, oh yeah, it's doing those changes and it's working. Like no, it's like you're riding the board and it's like, wow, this feels just natural, the way that it should be. Like it's doing what I want it to do when I wanted to do it. And so that's what I've been running on. My main setup right now has been the dovetails. Um, the dub drop 7 in the back, straight in the front, and then the pine is my go-to.
And you, Jaffa.
Specifically,
Oh, sorry, sorry.
specifically a Pioneer tire with the OG rim savers
Okay.
because it changes the profile of the tire different from the newer style rim savers.
And you, Jaffa?
Oh, there's a difference between the old and the new range savers. I didn't
Yeah.
even know that yet.
Hold on 1 second.
Good question. That's why it's beautiful to have the two of us. We make him in we have questions who don't
So
stop.
the old style. Oh, wrong
Let me
camera.
change here, my friend.
Yeah. So the old style was that more squared off look,
Yeah.
like first generation. A little bit thicker in the profile and how it sits in. The new style, they've rounded off that front edge. So
Oh,
this is the
okay.
profile that faces out, and inside on the back side is generally thinner. So these
Okay.
don't cause the tire to push in as much. So with these, you get a more bulbous, round, more carvy feeling. And these, the tire is going to keep its same like width and flat profile. And I like these better because it is a 6.5, but with the way they made the tire, it rides like my favorite tire, which is treaded Vega. But the only issue I always had with that tire is that
Oh, you like the Vega?
it was a little too hard. But the traction, it was the only
The
tire
threaded
that
Vega,
never
okay, the threaded Vega.
Yeah, okay.
the treaded Vega. That the
Okay.
traction, it was the only tire that didn't drift in turns.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, this tire doesn't drift, but with these lifesavers on it, it gives it a little more round profile, so
Mm-hmm.
it tips a little bit better. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's a good,
OG
nice tip.
lifesavers.
Nice tip.
Okay.
Thank you.
Don't throw away your old lifesavers.
Yeah, don't throw them away. I'm ready to message them like, hey, do you guys have any OG
Yeah,
ones sitting
I'm
around?
taking
Like,
notes.
I need those because yeah,
I have like my first GT white lifesavers. They're all messed up, but they're somewhere. I'm not gonna throw them
yeah,
away. So that's good. That's
just
good
that
And you,
tips.
slight difference. It makes a difference. It's wild.
and you, Jaffa.
I have too many too.
Jaffa has
Okay,
too
my
many,
GT. I
too
ride
many stuff.
yeah.
But before we continue, I just want to show something. Tell us a little about your store for us to know a little more, my friend.
So recently we just so Humbly Savage is a brand that I started, and stay humble, stay hungry, and you always remain humbly savage. And it's a brand, it's a way to be, essentially. And my lady has been partnering with me, supporting me when it came to the race league and doing all the scoring and stuff. But she's artistic in her way and doing things, and so we've just been working to try to come up with like a merch store. Because people are always reaching out asking like ways to help me and support me because of questions I've answered for them or ways I've helped them out through videos and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So we've just been hard at work. As you'll see, there's some gear on there for Sorrel. You'll see Sorrel 4. This is our 4th season. We kind of went with that Saw 4 theme for this season. Humbly Savage, that's just the regular generic or regular gear. And then you'll also notice on here, and this one is, it means a lot to me, means a lot to my lady, is there's also swag on here for like eating disorder support. And the reason that is on here is because when I entered the scene of One Wheel, it's one of a few bad interactions that I've had, but it was voiced to me. It's like, well, if you want to get faster, lose weight.
Okay.
And as somebody who is, I really don't have that much to lose when it comes to losing weights and understanding how people are built different.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, and the journey that she has been on, as far as like, I'm proud of her as far as like her taking responsibility, fixing herself, fixing her health, and going through these things. So we also have that on here because she supports me, but I also support her. So, and we support the community when it comes to understanding that the builds are different, and it shouldn't just be a thing where you just get slapped in the face with like, oh, well, go lose some weight if you want to get faster. Like that should not be the message that we're sending. So yeah, a few things on there for that. And then everything else is just
I think that is
our gear.
amazing. I don't have the link. I'm going to put it later on, the link on the live stream for everybody to go there and sponsor you guys, and maybe to help to bring this idea. So I'm a big guy. Maybe I'm the biggest of all of us here. I'm very big, and it's not easy for us to lose weight. I know that. But the
we try
important
to get
thing.
in shape.
Yeah. We have. I see you. I see you yesterday trying to training.
Yeah, man.
You look like a machine.
Now.
And I'll say, oh, he started before me.
Yeah, but
You are
now I have
preparing
to
for
keep
the
up, man.
season. You are preparing for the
Yeah,
season.
I'm trying. I'm
To
trying. It's
yeah,
always a good start, but now I have to keep it up.
I
Try to
think that
run
is
every two, three
it's going
days.
to be good.
So
So, my friend, I want to I want to edit some questions here very fast, and uh, tell me what is your favorite riders uh, in that you love to ride with them, or you already ride with them.
Yes, it worked. So my spirit animal, as I call it, is Jeff Adair. He is the one person that like I felt like when I came into the community and when I was riding the board and I was watching people ride, he was the one person that I felt like was truly hitting the trails and hitting the turns and just like sending it the way that I felt like I was going down the trail. And like it just him also being in the age bracket, same age bracket, he's up there, we're getting closer to 40. So just knowing that like there's somebody out there like me who's, I guess that light is dead. Somebody out there like me who is just sending it
Mm-hmm.
regardless of like our age. Like we want it and we're going and we're getting it. So that's my spirit animal, Jeff. Rider wise, much of my focus through the season, I would look at people like Austin Silva and Neil Bennett. Austin is a very analytical rider when it comes to the breaking down of, how you would ride the trail when it comes, acceleration points, braking points. He looks at it like I used to look at riding a motorcycle, hitting the apexes of the turns and whatnot. Um, and Neil is very intuitive in like just understanding like if you want somebody good to bounce things off of to understand how you want to dial your board in, uh, he's somebody to talk to, or like you can explain like your riding situation, what you're doing and what you're experiencing, and then he'll give you a little tidbit on like what you might want to change. It's like either go this way or that way. And like I don't know. That's like sensei, when it comes to like dialing my board in.
yeah,
Like we
that's
talk
true.
and we talk and we talk about tuning. Even when the GTS, when it had its little bug going on, after they did the initial update, when you would hit pushback, the ATR would want to fight the pushback, so it would lean up, but then it would drop the nose because it wants to bring it back level. And it was this weird thing. It would do a pushback. So first like literally that got fixed in days, but I was sending him so many messages just on my experience, like when I would feel it, when, and then other things as far as like what was happening going downhill, because I know they were trying to fix something going on with the nose hunt. Like just the correspondence between the factory team and the community, it's about to take the sport to new levels and it's exciting. um
Yeah, it's really
so
helping a lot. Huh?
yeah, so I would say
Uh,
those three are like top three on my list of people that my spirit animal. I want when I want to get hyped for the trail, I go watch Jeff, watch him go, balls to the wall down the trail, and then I go hit mine, and thinking about the analytics Austin, and then also the flowiness of Neil. So it's those are my riders.
I just want to make another question. It's like you are a off-road rider, 100%, or you like to go to streets and
90%.
90%
Told him
trail,
90%.
90% trail, 10% street. Like
downhill, uphill. What is your type?
for trails,
Yes.
I like the ugliest trail possible.
Uh-huh.
Like literally, the uglier it is, like I want to, because if I can go fast over ugly, I can
Mm-hmm.
go fast over smooth, non-rooted, non-chunky stuff. So I'll literally go and try to find some of the like training wise. I'll try to find the ugliest stuff that I could find, be it downhill, uphill, because finding your line going uphill. Now with the GTS, we can actually entertain more uphill, excuse me, style racing because it's got the power.
Mm-hmm. It's like
Um,
Muddy and Jaffa when they
yeah.
come together in the trail. They are like one
Yeah.
pushing for the other. You see when you go to your trails, and what who is the guy who is pushing for you, my friend?
So my
Be-
crew,
mm-hmm.
this is our couple of old heads. I got my homie John, John Haran, one wheel, one wheel Haran on Instagram, and then my other homie Mike Turpak. 2000, I think is his name on Instagram. They're the two people who like we chase each other down, and I chase them because they're lighter than I am.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so
You have to push
they
more for
yeah,
yourself.
they make me fast, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why I keep saying. But and the crazy thing is, my buddy John, he's been on he just got a GTS. He's been
Mm-hmm.
racing me on an XR for the past, couple seasons of Sarl and whatnot. And like, it's literally the perfect balance because there's probably about 50 some pounds between us. So it's like for him to be on an XR and I was on a GT, and our times, like we would literally be battling out like second after second, and it might shave a couple here, and then I got to go out and push it, and then he pushes his XR even further, and it's just his ability on that thing was insane. So like he kept me fast just with that. He's on a GTS now. So I'm
Now he has a
excited. I'm
GTS.
yeah, so
Okay,
I'm excited to see how much faster
it's
we
fun
all
now.
get just
Yeah.
because of that. Because now it's just gonna be insanity.
Putting another question is like this: you are a guy, the regions that you come, I see you the last videos with the snow and everything. Uh, so you are used to the mud and everything, like us here in Europe. Like Jaffa. Jaffa is a guy who has to ride in Belgium. Belgium is very nice. For you, then coming to not like uh, 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 going from very nust and then going to a trail that is clean and is very not raining, like I see that the events that we are going is easy for you, is like sweet or no problems to handle, or is for you the same riding when is not or nothing? What is the difference from you? Because riding trails is not easy, and you can hurt yourself very bad.
So so when it's nasty, you got to govern yourself more in the corners. But then on the straightaways, when it's nasty, you need to have your eyes peeled for those like real sloppy sections that could just wash out from underneath you, even if you're going in a straight line, because our tires only have so much traction. Um, when the trail is nice and it's perfect, that's when you get into those moments when you're overrunning turns and you're going too fast, and that's when trees become your enemies.
Mm-hmm.
So I find myself, I always do warm up, just like the rules on the mountains when you go, skiing or snowboarding. You take your first lap, your sight lap, you take it easy, then you take another lap, and like you pick it up a little bit. And I'm big on doing that. I'm big on, especially if it's a wide open trail, a lot of speed, because you need I find I need to be smart with my braking points. I need to know when I need to slow down because we all want to go, go, go.
Mm-hmm.
But when do you have to slow down? Because those are the crucial points. Because those are the points where you run off the trail, you mess up your line, you lose your time, all that good jazz. It's when I get to a trail, and if I'm training and I want to go fast, like I take my sight lap and then I assess like, okay, well, how do I want to ride this trail today? Like obviously I want to ride it clean, but do I want to focus more on speed through turns, and carry, depending on the trail, carry my speed through turns, because there's times I'll go out to the trail and I don't just hit the trail and just go, go, go. I'll
Mm-hmm.
go with a focus. I'll
Mm-hmm.
go with a point where it's like, I want to rush every turn that I ever hit. So I get used to correcting and bailing out of a rush turn scenario. So then that way, when that happens in a real life scenario, I know what I need to do as far as shifting weight, shifting point and go. You know what I mean? I know how to fix and how to correct that. That's just like there's times I'll go out on a trail and I'll ride with my feet. Now I'm giving away all my sauce. I
Mm-hmm.
ride with my feet.
I'm taking notes, man. I'm taking notes.
I ride with my feet all catacornered and jacked up, and I'll
Yeah,
ride
yeah, I
that
see
way
it. I
for
see it.
5 miles,
Mm-hmm.
because then you get used to riding the board when the board's not perfect under your feet.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a balance point on the board. There's always a tether
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that you can grab onto and ride that line. You just need to get used to internally adjusting real fast and
Mm-hmm.
understanding that my normal line and feeling on the board is not going to be it. I need to just feel what feels right and ride with that until I can adjust to my feet and
Mm-hmm.
do what I have to do. So there's times I'll go out and I'll ride with my feet all messed up the entire trail ride just so I get used to balance, and I'll move it to another whacked up position, ride like that, just get used to getting balance. And then there's a clip I recently put up. I forget. I think I put it on Instagram,
Let me go to the Instagram.
where my foot gets kicked off. Scroll down a little bit. Next to right of the snow clip. I think that's it. No, not that one. Go back. It's the one in the middle. I want to say.
This one.
I think that's it. Yeah, go ahead. It's gonna have. Yep, that's it. So here it was one of the things. I hit a root,
Ooh,
and the root
that
kicks my.
is
And you
the
see my
worst
foot,
thing.
and
Yeah,
it
the back foot.
kicks my foot
Almost.
halfway off the
Ooh,
board.
my
So it's like
body.
I catch it, but watch how quick I just smoothly ride away. Like I'm just cruising out of that, because it's like,
Ooh,
all right, I
Crazy.
know my foot is in that spot. Find that balance point and just continue riding it out, and then adjust your foot later. So like I'll ride
my
around all,
balls, I lose it yet.
That's crazy.
and
Just
that's why I
for
do that. So that way, like whenever you catch the board, you catch it, and then you just immediately go
hey, my
back to getting in
friend,
balance.
nice to be here. I'm going to put a question for you. You as a big rider, as a guy who rides fast and being these trails, what protections are you using all the time riding?
So when I'm riding,
Safeties.
and I'm racing, this is my rundown. So I've got padded shorts. I've got padded shin guards, because nobody likes to take a chopper to the shin when the
Mm-hmm.
board rolls
Mm-hmm.
over. So I got padded shin guards. I also run ankle braces
Mm-hmm.
that I have,
I have
because
now too.
I'm big. I'm big on. I'm out there like the Bionic Man. You know,
Mm-hmm.
anything I can have on me to longevity and not get tired as quick. So I run knee braces. I wear the old bones knee braces with the metal support brackets on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got the G form knee pads on the outside of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Under on my chest, I've got a padded chest protector.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the Troy Lee Designs one, I think is
Mm-hmm.
the name of it. The homie Turpak hooked me up with that. Outside of that, I got a Fox hard shell armor. Then my
Just like
jersey,
me, I have the Fox too.
yeah, Fox hard shell,
Mm-hmm.
and then my jersey on. Um,
Yeah, my friend, you have to have it.
elbow pads over top of the padded elbow
Always
pads. So
tell to Chaffer he has to have more safety. He's always like he's in holidays.
it, it
I need to
baffles
add up
me.
on the
It
safety.
baffles me when like I see people like, you have knee pads on and things like that, but it's like you're in shorts, and you don't even have any like, butt protection or anything like that. And I've
You have
crashed
to
enough in
have
my
it.
life from the stunt riding of
Yeah.
motorcycles to now this to know that
Yeah.
gear up to go down, because
You
like
have to
people
gear
watch
up.
my videos sometimes and they comment and they say like, how do you just get right back up? I'm like, well, it's because
Yeah,
I'm
that's the thing I
covered.
didn't understand about the GTS node. I was like, how he's getting down? He's standing up already. Like,
Yeah,
but
it's
yeah,
the
if you're well
gear.
protected,
Yeah,
yeah,
the gear, you gotta have it on.
yeah, I
And
need to invest
You
into the
have to
gear.
have it, my friend. You
you
don't
have
have no
to.
chance. You have to have it. Today, the speeds that we are.
Oh,
Look at this.
Yeah,
Look the speeds that you are having here. A small mistake.
and trees are not your friend. Like
No, no, no.
you're playing you're playing American football with trees
yeah.
out there. You know what I mean? Like
Trees
you
not
got
gonna
Your
budge.
bum.
like literally Jerome Bettis just waiting for you to come around the corner and just
Uh,
smack you, like
man.
if you don't take the
Uh,
line right. And it's
sometimes
Yeah,
sometimes we thinking we are like that is like a break. It's just we're like for a train.
yeah.
When you catch a tree, is like just say, "My God, what happened?" I see a
yeah.
guy in Portugal. Is one friend of us, Florence, and he was going downhill and he hit his leg in one
Oh,
tree. My friend, the good thing is he plays capoeira and his legs are very strong. If it was not that, it was me. Believe it, my
I
leg
broke
was
something. Yeah.
yeah. And I see the arm from Jaffa, and Jaffa is always
That's my biggest fear on the trails, honestly.
Yeah,
Like if I could say one thing when I'm riding, um, that's the one thing when I'm racing or going that I have to like black out and ignore and just say like, don't worry about hit your line. And that's why I do the couple of runs through. It's like hit your lines, don't think about the trees, because sight fixation. As soon as you look at it, you look where you go, and you look at that tree, you're gonna hit that tree.
yeah. You got tunnel vision, and
Yep.
you
And
just have
so
to
like
zone them out.
I block it out.
you
I'm like, I can't look at the trees. Like just go, because they're whipping by you in some of the spots, and it's like
I'm going to ask you something. Do you, when you go to these trails, do you make a round or two before you speed it, or you just hit it?
So generally, I will make at least one sight lap. So with the boards, having multiple boards, because I still have my XR.
Uh huh.
So I'll take my XR out for like a joy lap, sight lap, see if there's any, big
Mm-hmm.
sticks in it. Like especially if I'm doing a segment day when I'm out
Yeah.
running times, I'll see if there are any sticks in the way, move them out the way, and take my sight lap there. If it's a trail that I know and I know it like the back of my hand, like it's one of my local ones,
Mm-hmm.
many of those I just grip it and rip it. I get there, go,
Okay.
whatever conditions I come upon,
We have to.
I
We
come
have to.
upon
We have to
them.
ask to Muddy next time. Please let us give a round before we go to the trail,
Yeah.
because most of the times we just go there and say, "Oh, this trail is very good." He knows the trail, but all of us is like a big box of surprise. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah,
know where
I
is nothing, and
The
it's
smart
just
thing is just
pushing
to
you.
follow him,
I
and
try not
then
to do
you.
that on group rides. Like if I
Yeah.
take people out and I know and you don't know the trail, like I'm gonna take it easy because I know it's your first time and like you can only follow
Yeah.
lines so much, and then once so much space gets between, now you're riding
You,
blind. So
here
it's
is
like
Yeah.
different.
I
Here's the
get it.
follow me.
Follow me. Good luck.
Survive. Survive.
There's
Oh,
times
there's
we
a
play those games
no,
sometimes,
no,
but
that is not the game. That is very bad. For him, it's good because he knows the way. For us, it's like, oh,
Mm.
oh, sorry. Oh, don't you see it? It was there. Okay.
Watch
That's why
out for
I'm
that
asking
tree.
you that. I think that is important for us to make a small round and test it because the speeds that we are using today is very bad, and we are humans, and we are crazy. We don't think with the head. We one push it. You come from bikes, you know that one friend push it, the other push it more, and the other push it more. And when you are seeing, you just said, "Oh, today I'm going to go easy and relax," and then 5 minutes later
That
you
that's
are
a
does not
pushing
joke.
like a crazy
never
guy.
happen.
That's the biggest joke ever said in one wheel. It's like, oh, we're taking it easy today, guys.
And then you just look to the other one
300,
and
Impossible.
300 feet into the ride. It's like you didn't even make it into the first turn of a trail. Like you just got on the trail. It's like, what happened to taking it easy? It's like, yeah, clear out the window.
so for my side, I'm going to tell you something, my friend. I think I know you. I don't have no problem to say I know you because of the try that you put with your GT S when you try to go to the speed and you fall. Was the first time I see your videos. But today, Jaffa was the one who contact me and say, why don't we bring him here? He's a fantastic rider, and I say, invite it. You make the interview. I know that is for the first time for Jaffa is a little like everything new. I think next time he's going to do it like perfect, and that is the idea
You
for
mean
us.
next time?
It's the
I'm
first
gonna do
time
this
for me
again.
too. So
No,
so
no,
we
no,
were
no, no,
here
no.
we
I'm
were
going
here
to put
doing
him more.
first together.
I like to have other riders here doing interviews. I know that is in the beginning is hard because it's everything new for me. I have more than 300 interviews. It's easy for me to make it, and for what he did today, I think was amazing. You guys making this interview together. First of all, I want to say to Jaffa, thank you so much for bringing you here. I think you are very important for our community, and
Thank you.
I think you answered lots of questions for us, like the GTS, what is changing, is important for us to know. You put Jaffa in a bad situation, and me too.
Again, like I said, don't expect it, especially since you've been riding Vesks. Don't expect, but it is
Yeah.
take it for the future motion the growth that has happened in the
The
it's
problem,
it's insane.
the problem we
If it keeps growing like this,
Oh my
the
God.
the changes that came with the factory team, it can only go better
get
from
better.
now.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have
I
I
think
have
too.
I can feel
I
it
have
coming
hope again.
because I had a dream the other night and I messaged Jeff and told him this. I'm like, yo, bro, I was like, we were out riding and we were chasing each other around the trails because him and I always message him and say, I'm like, oh, if we lived in the same state, like we would be chasing each other. Like that would be the duo. And I was like, bro, we were doing like 56 miles per hour on one wheels in
Yeah,
my dream. And he was like, what? 50? I'm like, yeah. I'm like,
yeah,
that's how far I see it is going. It's like, because the GTS can honestly, it can hit 40, like I think is governed at like this probably governed. I mean, I'm not saying go out there and try it by any means
Mm-hmm.
at all,
Yeah, I saw
but
Jeff's story
yeah,
last week.
it,
I was like, dude.
the proper weight and combo, and that was on the street. So like street speeds are obviously going to be higher than trail, but it just shows you the potential of what you could possibly do on that perfect straight on a trail. Like if you can hit almost 40 on the street, you can clean 35 up nice
Mm-hmm.
on a trail. And like to do that, oh my God.
But it's putting like this, my friend. Is just a situation to see these great riders. I have the privilege to have him here, Neil Silva, and they can put that idea, and there's a possibility to go to the company and show what they can change, what they can upgrade, what they can do to the company. I think that is amazing. That is a big step for all of us riders as safety, as what we need for our boards, and I think that is a good. I'm just going to tell like this. I think Jaffa and you're going to agree. Is like us, we are like Vesks, but I think that is going to be good for everybody, not just for the future motion, but for the guys who are with Vesk to upgrade. And everybody's going to try to be like a battle, and the ones is going to win is us riders.
The rider.
Because
It's just the board
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It's gonna be. I'm gonna be honest. Like I don't know how much it's even being talked about or like if anybody said, but like over the weekend there was the Wheel Fun weekend or whatever on Kyle Hansen's thing that he does out there. And if my eyes strike me right and what I saw for what I think I saw, Kyle finished third, I think, and he
Mhm.
was on a stock XR.
yeah.
And Allie finished first for the women, and she was on a stock XR. So, to the point of us saying it's about the rider and not the board, you got OG XRs still showing face on the podium in a world full of
Yeah,
Vesks and
that's over here
GTSs
as
and
well.
GTs. You know what I mean? So it's insane that like it's the rider, it's not the board.
Yeah, okay, I
That board
understand
does
that.
help, though. Don't get me wrong.
Come on,
No,
come on, my
when
friend.
you get after a certain weight,
I
that
think
board
that is
does
very
help, though.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I think that is very beautiful. What you are saying that is, but can I tell you something? There is no chance for the GT against the GTS. And if you are, of course, the rider is important, but we see Jaffa, we see Jaffa trying to compete against the Vesks, and he was with a normal GT and was no chance. He could kill himself, and the GT has his limits, and the Vesk was telling you bye bye. And
also depends on the course. Huh?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yes, of
that's the
course, of
major thing.
course.
It,
That's
it
just
was a
like
it was a pump track race.
Mhm.
So it was
yeah.
completely different. Like you had the wide open screamers that
XR
you
does
could
a
hit.
tail slap for
Yeah, you know
first
what I
of
mean.
all.
So there's the refinement in that XR. I think is what
Yeah, and you have to
what
you have
helped
to see
there.
the pressure. I see
Yeah.
you like you use a lot of the putting your tire with more pressure, less pressure, and lots of people don't know how to do that. They just go to the trails and they use the same what they are in the streets, and that makes a big change. Putting you have to work with your settings. What are you riding? And lots of riders don't change nothing. But like Jaffa, it changed all the time. I don't know how many times Jaffa is always because it's not easy. How many boards do you have now preparing, Jaffa?
Oh Lord.
I don't
Look
even
at
want
his
to
face.
say it
Look at his
anymore.
face. Look at his back. Look at his back. Come on, show them.
I have 2 kids riding. It's not all my boards.
And see,
But
and the
we have 9 one wheels in the house.
you got
But
some on wheels in the house. Man.
but
And
the fun thing is there's only 2 or 3 that's rideable now. They're all done apart
That's
for
why I'm asking. You have now
for
4 or 5?
Veskin, and then I have 2 GT Pines float wheel. How many XRs? 1 brand new XR, 2 Vesk XR, and the XR for my daughter, and the Pines. So yeah, 9.
Oh, just and
But
most of them they are not working.
The one brand new XR has 0 kilometers. I'm just gonna keep it for the museum or something like that later on.
Nice.
It's just sitting there in the box.
I love this one. Look.
Yeah, I don't have that. That's
Is that
the
the
one
V1?
that's
Is
missing
the
for my collection
F1.
is the one.
Yep.
I don't know how many times do I fall with this, with the nosedive.
Especially
That
going from any other board back to that, and like you just get on it and push on it like you're expecting it to be normal.
yeah, but he's a tank. He's always survived till today. He works.
Yeah.
He's not fast,
That
but
XR form factor, man, was built strong. Like
It's built to last.
yeah, it held up for sure.
lots of people don't know that the first XR was without sensor. Was with what's the name?
Was a read sensor like a magnet or
No, it's
push
not a
button?
magnet. The push button.
Yeah,
That was the
that's right.
first one
Yeah.
made it. Lots of people don't know that. There's a guy here in Germany who has one. I'm trying to buy all the time because but the guy is not selling, and that is, I think, was not
Super
made.
rare. Yeah,
Yeah, that is in pink.
that's
color.
right. Yep.
That is the original one before they started to then
To
come
mass
to the
produce.
sensor.
Yeah.
And I think that is amazing. Just for you to have it, it was perfect. But now coming to the end, we are close. What we talk about it, my friend? Oh, let's make it 45 to 1 hour.
Yeah.
we
I
are
know.
already more than 2
Wow,
And
hours.
already
I
two
told you I like to talk too, so I knew that was going. I knew that was happening.
Yeah, my wife was like, "How long is this gonna take?" I'm like, "No idea. You never know."
Guys, that is always easy when the people are washing. For us who are speaking, we don't see the time. The time is like.
Flies
And
by.
I just want to say to everybody who came here to see this live, first of all, I want to say the two of you, thank you so much for organizing this live.
You're welcome.
Was the two of you who organized everything and to make this possible to happen. And it's a privilege to have you, the two of you, two fantastic riders. I have the pleasure to ride with Jaffa. Jaffa is for me one of my favorite riders I have here. I don't have no problem to say it. He's inspiration, and he's a guy who bring his kids and bring lots of good friends, bring lots of good vibes for all of us in Europe, and is one of the guys are pushing this sport here. And I meet him last summer. And today I have a big respect for him and his family and his friends. I think lots of people love him, and that's why I was the first one to say, please do the interview. And I think it was lots of points, but I know it's difficult when you have the first interview because it's not easy. But I think
I was like, I'm gonna prepare for this. I'm gonna take notes, this and that.
you can forget it, my friend. That's why I always love to make. Yeah, that's why I always like to make freestyle, because you just have a conversation with two friends, and it's going to be better. Because when you make everything planned, when you see the question is over, and now, and then you are like,
Yeah.
It's easy for you to make a nice conversation, and the people who are in the live, sometimes they put questions and we answer, and friends of the riders who come here, they always do the same. I just want to say something before I leave you guys with the last questions, and then you with the I leave always the person who are invited with the last words. I just want to show something for you guys. Tomorrow we're going to have a live stream. It's going to be different than the normal because it's not going to be a one wheel. It's going to be a crazy rider, one of the best riders now in USA. Is a guy who is has a background of downhill. Is today using electric too, and he's going to come here. Is winning all the races here in USA. He's coming to speeds that you guys cannot imagine. They coming to more than 100 kilometers per hour. I think he's about 80 miles per hour in the electric skateboards, and these guys are crazy. And Jaffa has a background of skating. I have a background of mountain boarding, and just having this guy, this young guy, bringing this machine is very heavy, and doing what he's doing is not easy. And the last part of the video, you're just going to see at how speed this man is going. So
You should
So
not be showing me this, man.
Wild.
yeah, this guy
That's
is going to come
crazy.
tomorrow here, and is a privilege to have again some riders of skating. We're going to have some AUC riders on the top, and I hope that you guys come. Don't forget that is made
Mhm.
for the community, and each one who wants to make come to the interview can always talk with me, and we're trying to get. But the big surprise what I'm going to say to everybody is in Europe, or maybe you guys who are in USA who wants to come to the events in Europe. We're going to have most of the events is going to happen in Europe, not just the one wheelers. We're going to have other events like next month is going to be a big event in Prague with around 150 riders speeding. I'm going to be again back to race. I'm going to be racing with AUC one wheel and with a skateboard. Let's see how
Nice.
that goes. And is already complete book. Don't have the chance. Is going to be lots of good riders, and we're going to have every Sunday uh, one group of the events is going to happen for them to explain what is going to happen in Europe this year. That way, the first
Nice.
one is going to be Float Italia. They are going to do different that the other events. They're going to make a very special one with invitations. I think that is the style of Jacopo and the guys from Float Italia. I think that they do it the perfect thing. They are doing what they love,
And freestyle.
and is the style of the two of them, Martin and Jacopo. And I think that is going to be amazing to have the best riders there. And the rest of the events, what we're going to have this year is going to be 8 events official. Not official is going to be more. In Germany is going to be another one, but not official. In Netherlands, they are preparing for next year too. Maybe they're going to come in 2025 with a big event. And if you guys want to come, every Sunday is going to be an interview from all the events is going to happen in Europe in the next 12 weeks. Then in May is going to start the events around UK and Europe. So if you have the chance, go to the events, support these guys. They have a big role, and they are working a lot for you to have fun. Go there, support them. Don't think they are going to win money. Most of the time, they lose time of their private lives to arrange an event for you to have fun, and that's what we have to do. It go there and say thank you so much for what you are doing for all of us, and that way next year they're going to say okay, let's do it bigger and better. That's the way we have to do it. Support your communities, and that's the way we have to do it. But before I go, I want to make you a question. Where you are living, there is an event?
So not in my state. No, we don't have actually an event, but the closest event to me would be in Massachusetts. It's
Okay.
Wheel Life Rally, I believe is what it's
Mm-hmm.
called. But we are working to do some things. So
That's what I was going to ask. Is something that you are planning to do
now
something?
work. So in the chat, we got One Wheel Philly. Shout out to them. We're actually going to be working together. We're trying to put on an event like in the Philly area. Um, Something similar to like a Stoke Bird, but with some racing in it, and things are still being talked about, um, and worked on in conjunction with like me, One Wheel Philly. I believe One Stop Board Shop's going to be possibly involved too. Um, Also, One Wheel Philly. I don't know if you guys are familiar with seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
Fluid Theory. That's the company that they're behind. They do the glow jobs for the one wheel where it lights up your wheel. And they've also got a new
Yeah, I saw
product
that.
that's just recently dropping. I believe it's called the Shaft,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a light up stick, LED light. Also doubles as a power bank for your phone,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, so they're just recently releasing those. So check them out too. Fluid Theory. Uh, they're one of the homies that also support me, and when it comes down to, they're also part of my 10% street riding when I go when I go to Philly and ride with those guys.
Yeah, and that's the other thing we forget to tell. Do you have 5% too in float life? The float life,
Oh yeah, so with
the code.
being with the Float Life, yep, underscore Humbly Savage. That'll get you
Mm-hmm.
5% off any order,
Mm-hmm.
anytime when you order with the Float Life. Yeah, again, partnering up with them, just working with them when it comes to the affiliate program that they've offered up. Um, it's been a joy. It's been a blast. Like I said, as we all know, Float Life, they're great guys. Stand up
Mm-hmm.
customer service. Like, yeah, I couldn't really say a bad thing.
Yeah, that is the important thing.
True.
Yeah.
If you are out there, you have the chance to support him, go and try to contact him. What is the best way to contact you, my friend?
So for me, the best way I would say would be Instagram. Find me on Instagram _humbly savage, and yeah, message me there. It's probably the easiest way because
For
I'm always on that.
so for the people who wants to see your videos, the short ones is in Instagram normally, and for you to see the completely crazy writing of this guy and lots of information, lots of settings, lots of things. I think he has lots of things in his YouTube. Go there, subscribe to his YouTube channel.
I'm big
Give
on
a
trying to
nice.
do reviews. That's my thing. If you
Uh,
want like product reviews, that's one thing I'm trying to offer. I just did an install video on the squishies. I try to show people the unbiased truth behind
mhm.
the products that you might get, the experience you might have. I'm not here to lie to people. I'm not here to make anything up. You know what I mean? I give it to them straight laced. So that's where I feel like people connect and relate to my reviews because I'm not here to impress anybody with the review. I'm here to tell you so you know what to
Yeah, you
best spend
impress
your
us
money
very
on. You know,
much, my
What to
friend.
expect?
so
Yeah.
yeah, so it's that's what
First
it
of all,
comes in.
you impress me and a lot, and I think you bring good lots of things for the table, and it's good to see that you are speeding and showing how can we write. We learn with each others, all of
Yep.
us. I'm learning with all of you, and I think for the future we will see. And I think your ideas is magnificent. Talking about the problem of the weight, talking about kids, talking about lots of stuff. I think the people have to follow you and understand what you are doing. I think you are doing a fantastic job. I
Thank you.
will support you more. I will make more things for you. I hope that everybody's out there, if they have the chance, go there and support you too. And I'm just going to leave for you guys to see it. You have the YouTube channel, you have his Instagram and his page. Go there and try to
I
support
need
him.
a hand rack shirt. That logo
Yeah,
is dope
and I
with
would
the
love
colors.
to say another thing is like this. This video is not sponsored. This video, it don't pay us nothing to come here. Is sometimes the people on the internet think, oh, they is winning money with this. I always tell in all the lives,
Oh,
that was the invitation from Jaffa to you, and Jaffa contact me and he said, Nelson, this guy will be fantastic to bring in your life. And I said, Jaffa, make the interview with him. You invited. You are the one. And I have to thank the two of you for coming here. And like always, here is free. I don't ask nobody to subscribe. If you want to subscribe, subscribe. If you don't want, the important thing, just come and see it. You are in Facebook, you are in X, Twitter, or you want to call it, and in the groups on Facebook. That is just us sharing information for the riders. If you are out there and you speak better English and you have the chance and you want to do something for the community, try to start to make live streams, talk with the riders, bring people to the table, show how is that in your state, in your city, in your wherever you are. Do that. That way we can put this better and better every year. I think that we are the future. We are opening the doors for the kids in the future to have something to have a
Do
good
that.
time.
yeah.
And in Europe, it's very difficult for us because we are illegal in some countries, and that way we have to show to these countries that this PVs are good to ride. That is not a problem if you have your time. And the most important thing is the companies who we need more is Red Bull, this big companies to start support these
To
guys,
attract the
that
guys.
these guys can travel to other countries and show how good they are. I think that's what we need, and to support the events. We need these big companies to come to and show that this sport is maybe we see in the future in Olympics or something like that. We never know.
The
I just want.
exciting thing is how much of in its infancy the sport is, and the fact that like I think about that too. Red Bull, Monster, all them big companies, we need them. We'll get them. They'll be around at some point. We're so new. It's just getting started.
Yeah,
Like
it's a matter of time
it's truly just getting started.
when I pick it up. Sure
So
about.
I'm going to leave with the last words. First of all, Jaffa, who was the person who invited. Uh, your last words, and then I leave you for you, my friend, the last words for the community who came here to see you or going to see this video later on. And I hope to see you guys riding and trekking all the off roads and be safing.
Thank
Jaffa, come, my friend.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to be here. Thanks for the invite, Nelson. Yeah, it was a bit nerve wracking to do it, but I got to know Kyle better now. Had some good tips. I took notes. It's great to keep connecting with each other and get to know each other and the point of view between here and in America. So yeah, keep riding, everybody. Keep shredding, and we'll see you on the next one. Back to Kyle.
I just want to thank you guys for even having me on here. Like I said, never in my wildest dreams would I even think that I'd be invited on to something like this. So it's been a real honor sitting here talking with two great guys in the community. We're all just out here to grow, learn, and I feel like the more we do this, the better it's going to be, and the more we're going to learn and grow. We definitely need more of this, cross the pond connection and conversations happening, so that way,
For
again,
sure.
my heart is with you guys when it comes to the support. Like even from this, it gives me, more fuel to try to work into, the things that I say in my Instagram story. So, yeah, excited to see what the future holds. And yeah, everybody stay humble, stay hungry, and you'll always remain humbly savage.
I hope that the other guys ask you. I think they're going to ask you to come to the live streams. I see lots of guys who came here. They came then to the other live streams, and I hope that they open the door for you because you deserve it. You are a fantastic
Appreciate it.
rider, and I would love to see all my riders here from Europe going to the live streams in USA. I see some of them already there, and maybe the guys from USA bring these events from Europe and talk with them there just to show what we are doing here in Europe. And I think they are doing a fantastic job. It's not easy. And for you, my friend, don't stop doing what you love. And that way we have something to go to the telephone or maybe at
Yes,
home and
inspirational.
see and we see what we can improve.
Definitely. As I always say, I'm not going anywhere. Even when I can't race anymore, my dreams and aspirations are to continue to support the community, even as something as events or whatever. Oh, final shout out. I gotta shout my homies out,
Yes,
man.
come
Like they're
on, my
they're, they're
friend.
the
Do it
ones
and do
that
it.
keep me hungry, keep me on the game, keep me on the chase. So shout out to all my sorrow boys, all my local homies, John Turpak, Jeremy, Steve, everybody. You know who you are. I'm not gonna run through the whole list. Shout out to my distant homies, especially Quade, Dockeril on Instagram. Me and him literally, that's my brother. Shout out to my homie Max down in North Carolina, Maxwell Rose. If you guys are looking for awesome one wheel content, that's another YouTube channel that you can check out. Channel's called Shred Diaries, and he
Okay.
does these daily long form videos where he's cruising around, shredding around, listening to music.
You
That
send me the
is,
link.
yeah, I could send you the link. That is my other brother. So I just had to shout them out. They keep me grounded. They keep they keep me in my sane place when we all need that support system. So
And you have to support your friends, my friend. That way we can grow, all of us. If we don't support each other, then we are not going to grow. And
Yeah, we
that's
all keep each other going. Huh?
yes, my friend. We have to
definitely,
always take care of each other.
here we
And
go.
I think that is amazing when you lose your last minutes of the interview just to talk about these special persons that you have around you. Special persons is what I cannot take that out. Sorry.
Here we
You have
go.
to
Just
make me private. Yeah,
yeah,
private is
put it in
better.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. And that way I can
But
put
yeah,
it here. Okay, let's do it. So, guys, I'm going to show you something. Just do what I'm going to do it. That way is going to be fantastic. Just go there. There is something here white, and just click it,
yep.
and
You won't be disappointed.
you
Trust me.
just do it like this, and you're going to
Him and I are
bing.
working on some collab stuff. So be on the lookout. It should be exciting. We're trying to do some collab stuff from far away from one another. He's in North Carolina, I'm in New Jersey, and we're trying to make it happen. So it should be exciting, like collab trail riding
Oh, I see this
type
video
thing.
with. I think that was from Barn. Barn who put this video.
Oh, Bart.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Barn Miller. I think he
yeah,
put
Bart
the
Miller. Yeah,
video.
he shared
Yeah,
some of it. Yep.
yeah. I see the last one from him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's another Clydesdale rider. So yeah,
Let's. He's talking about the changes. Yeah. And I want to see him riding. Just
go
before
forward
we
a little
leave.
bit.
Also waiting.
I want to see him riding.
If you click one
Talking
of the
with my.
shorts that were there.
Let's see here. Up. So he's one of the big guys. He's
Yeah,
on the
baby.
team.
Yep, definitely. But yeah, had to shout my homies out because, like I said, they keep me motivated, and yeah, again.
When we are finished from here, just send me an Instagram all the links from each one, and I put in your live stream that
Okay.
everybody can know them a little more, and maybe they can subscribe and see the content from them.
Cool.
I think that is very important. I think that is the way we have to do it. If you send me the links, everything in Instagram, I'm going to put it later on for everybody who come to see the live stream and see it, the links from each one of them.
Oh,
I'll
that's
definitely
dope
show
riding.
those.
And I have to
So, my
subscribe as
friends,
well.
I just want to say 2 hours and 30 minutes of good information was a very
Didn't
nice
talk will be
talk.
this long.
Yeah, my
Enjoyed it.
friend, that is always you cannot imagine. I was here one time close to 5 hours, and I was like, but this guy is like this. The conversation when it's good, my friend, you don't see the time going, and
That's
that
true.
was a very interesting. First of all, I think was you put on the table lots of points that was important about the GTS. For us, is difficult, and you are a person who has the experience, and you tell your experience, and that is the important for us riders to listen to riders. And of course, you put me and Jaffa in a bad situation, but we will see. Maybe he's going to have the 10 board there. And his wife is going to kill you then.
Oh my goodness.
You say, "Oh, what you do to
You'll
my
never
man?"
find out. You will never find out.
So, my friends,
Okay.
thank you so much again.
Thank you.
For everybody who came here, for the people who is going to see this video later. Thank you so much for coming here and see the live stream and see the video later on. Go there, subscribe to the 2 channels. I'm going to leave the 2 channels from them, from Jaffa and from Kelly, and just go there and have a good time. I think they has lots of good content, and they are good riders, and there are more trails, the 2 of them. But I know that Jaffa likes to go speed in street, and if you see the last video from him when it was in Italia, and then if you want to see the GTS going to the limit and Kelly falling up, that was a big fall. Huh? Do you damage yourself?
What, on
When
the
you fall with
nosedive?
it? Yes.
No,
You only damage the Insta to 60.
The
no,
360,
so
that is that
so
is
so I
normal.
didn't really hurt myself fully. It was one of those things where I landed and it was like it kind of just like shook the whole one side of my body. So like
Mhm.
all my like the connecting points on like this half of my body were
Uh-huh.
just sore for like a week. You know what I mean? Like where everything connect to the next thing, the ribs connect, like just all those points just were sore. It was as if I landed and my entire just chassis just like shifted when it happened. So it
Like
was
a big body check.
yeah, it was ugly.
So the good things when we are big, we have lots of protections around us.
Yeah. So, shout out to
well
that
protected.
tack jacket from Float Life. It saved me that day, that's for sure.
Yeah, I see that you fall with your back, and that was a good thing. If you don't did that, that what happened to most of them. They go directly to the shoulder and they broke the shoulders.
Mhm.
Is always the first thing we see the riders here is the shoulders. Most of them is just shoulders. So, my friends, thank you so much for
Thank you.
coming. It's a pleasure. Maybe next year we can do something else. I'm going to put you like the second barn because it's always a special video that make you on the top. This video that you fall is going to be something that is going to be very special. And Bart Miller, everybody knows, is Nosedive, is the one who make him famous till today. The only difference is today he don't drink any more alcohol, and before he was always with a beer in his hand.
That's right.
And I'm
Proud of you, Bart.
I'm very proud of him when he was here in Europe and he told me
Hell
I stopped
yeah.
drinking. I was like,
Yeah. Hell
That
yeah.
is a good thing, my friend. So have a good time, guys. Enjoy it, and we are